And with that, we are back for another week of playing, well, specifically Light of Thylea, playing Odyssey of the Dragonlords. I'm DM David. These are the wonderful folks over who actually get to be Light of Thylea. And I'm super excited because they just hit level 19, and we'll see what kind of shenanigans they're going to be up here soon. As we're getting back into it, thank you for last week. Taking that week off was certainly nice for everyone involved, but I'm excited to get back into it. With that, do you guys have any nerd news that you guys want to shout out? I've got a very obvious one that just makes me happy, but...
I have a kind of a sad one.
Oh.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Well, I mean, it's just if you were a Lord of the Rings fan, the movies, Bernard Hill, who played King Theoden, passed away Sunday at the age of 79. So sad. He was also the captain on the Titanic in the James Cameron movie. So
rest in peace.
That's probably the two things you would most likely know him from. But yeah,
he's sad.
In better nerd news, for those of you that kind of got addicted to Helldivers there for a second, maybe even if you stepped away for a while because you got too busy with life, there was a change that was supposed to be implemented later in the month. Specifically, the PlayStation Network was going to be required as a linked login, or otherwise you couldn't play Helldivers anymore. Because, of course, originally it was a PlayStation game, or at least I don't know the exact terms, and I'm not going to it doesn't matter because holy shit, did the community of Helldiver players not fucking take it well? They went to Steam and hell dove the review score into the fucking ground. It is phenomenal. It is a good example of what collective action can do. So if you don't believe in unions, if you do not believe that those kind of things work, watch Helldivers. It is a fascinating case study of why that shit actually does work. And together you are stronger. Together, monkey strong. I think the quote goes something like that.
And on the
Yep.
I was just gonna say, the art nerd in me, I love the fact that they're taking the tanked reviews and turning it into a cape, and it just looks so good.
If you know anything about Steam, there's blue bars if they're positive reviews, and that game has been so well reviewed for such a long time because there's a reason all of this happened in the first place. We'll go into that in a second. But when the bars are red, then they also show how much they've gone red by. And so it's been like pretty positive, and then boom, they just went down into the absolute negative with a massive red bar. But yeah, like Clancy said, it is phenomenal that that's going to be a cape you can wear in the game. The devs have confirmed that. And you know what? This is the reason that we fucking love them. Arrowhead, my hat is off to you. You did fucking phenomenal.
The community manager did get fired, though, for promoting that, so...
Oh, shit,
Spitz.
Really?
Spitz did a lot more than just... He said some insensitive and dumb shit where he's like, it's like, remember back in the day when Blizzard said, what, you don't have phones? During that announcement of Diablo Immortal. It was kind of akin to that, not gonna lie, until he then afterwards, or they had to realize, oh shit, a lot of people cannot play the game because they cannot make a PlayStation Network account. So they're fucked. You know what? Though, I will say kudos to Steam. Even people that had played for dozens of hours requested a refund because of those implications and pretty much saying, hey, listen, this is not what I signed up for, and Steam refunded them. So good on you, Steam.
Yeah, they were going to end up refunding people that, even people that had played over 100 hours. If you were in a country where you could no longer play, they were still going to refund the game.
Wow, that's awesome.
But now they don't have to. But it definitely feels like akin to OGL and how they were like, just kidding, we're not doing this. And then everyone was like, well, you've still tarnished everything and we all will remember this. It kind of feels the same where they're like, we're not going to do this anymore. And everyone is still like, well, we won't forget that you were going to.
And I think nobody should forget, right? Because that was a shitty move. It was a shitty move mostly by Sony. And I think that's the important one. I will say there's...
Not Helldivers. No shame to Helldivers. Sony specifically. Everyone is like, you fucked up and we're going to remember.
There's one thing about that, though, that I think is very important to point out because it's a little bit of a double standard. You know how we had to log into our Xbox accounts or Microsoft accounts to play Halo Infinite, and we had to log into our Ubisoft accounts to play Assassin's Creed. The big difference, of course, is it was announced at the start of the game, right? That is the big differentiating factor. But it's like Sony's getting whacked so hard for requiring that when so many games do it. But I'm glad that this push happened, and I hope the energy is going to be kept up in the future like that. The reason is, honestly, Helldivers is just such a wonderful meta game where online play actually makes sense and enhances the game tremendously. And that is the big change. That's a big difference. Instead of just pushing yet another AAA game, you did it the right way. Anyway, just wanted to do a quick love message to everyone that participated in that. And it is going to go down in gaming history, in my mind at the very least, as a very good moment. All right. Any last things before we get back into it? Because we might have taken 2 weeks off, or a week off, and it was 2 weeks since we last played, but holy shit, was last session a bit of a doozy.
Sorry. I'll turn my mic off.
What do you mean? What do you mean a doozy? What do you mean?
So I think Clancy, you seem excited to maybe contribute towards the recap of this session? Yeah? Uh-huh.
Wow, that's I just got a huge mental image of like a 2-year-old Clancy who was trying to get extra ice cream after dinner.
Oh shit. All right, cool. Well, with that, then, welcome back for another session of Light of Thylea. Previously, our group is currently on the hunt for 3 divine artifacts. With these artifacts, they hope to be able to ascend to godhood, or at least one of them. The debate on who exactly will be that person has not been heated, but it certainly has been ongoing. And it seems like the top pick might be undergoing some strife. You have one of the divine artifacts. You traveled to the Aresian Peninsula where the Amazons, led or subjugated by the Medusas, have been searching for the second. And it appears that Moxena, the current queen, falsely so, of Themis and the Amazons, is in possession of the third. The second, the one that you guys were fighting over, so to speak, was supposedly within the foothills, the cairns of Carpathos, where the ancient original founder of Aresia was buried, or said to be buried. You traveled there. Leto, Daphne's mom, had made friends with some of the Amazons there and was able to lead the main Amazon force away from the cairn that you needed to go to. You assaulted it, you got in, you got through the cairn maze, and made your way to the final chamber. There, you encountered undead. First, you had the energy of the Helm of Brilliance that Daphne carries just indicate that there was undeath all around. Then you get deeper into it as the air was starting to be sucked out of the mausoleum. You finally stepped into a final chamber where you saw the massive floating brain of none other than Narcissus, the final son of Mitros and Vulcan, a dragon turned god, whose godly blood and power had been used by the Aresians, and specifically Yanni's mother, Queen Helen. You defeated Queen Helen when you made a deal with Sidon, took over Aresia, and turned Aresia into Sidonia, kicking out most of the Aresians, and, yeah. Carpathos, however, who also stood beside her, both of them clearly undead, clearly powerful, offered to talk to their descendant. And so Yanni talked. Darian and Bursa said fuck that shit for a hot minute, until they both almost fell unconscious, did fall unconscious partially at least, from the honor guard that was protecting former King Carpathos. And then you had a conversation. Daphne certainly remembered the many hung up to bleed dry Aasimar bodies that hung from the halls of the lower catacombs of the Aresian Palace. Their blood had been used to power the Palladium, the thing that was protecting Aresia from Mitros and other would-be invaders for generations. The thing that kept the atheists of that city safe from godly onslaught. Yanni, you found out that your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, from the beginning, had fought a desperate battle against gods. Posing to you, how do you fight gods? Are you not willing to do anything you can to protect your people, your bloodline, those who you want to keep safe from divinity itself? When you are nothing more than an ant, what tools will you be willing to take on? And Karpathos was unashamed, unabashedly admitting to the fact that he was willing to commit severe crimes if it meant defeating Sidon, defeating Lutheria, and finally ridding Thylea of the curse of divinity, as he sees it. He also agreed to share his divine artifact, the Caduceus. As you guys see in the back, hi guys, no, I'm just kidding. The Caduceus, a staff of immense power, to aid in defeating the gods once and for all. Or, at the very least, constructing a new version of the Palladium, powered not by divine blood, but by the divine artifacts, to forever keep Thylea safe from divine interference. Some of you, rightfully so, may have felt like you had not much choice but to hear out the two incredibly deadly undead creatures. Others may have been a little bit more interested to see what else they had to say. We find ourselves in the rolling hills of the Aresian Peninsula. The scene, at first blush, may have been peaceful and easy, but there are dozens and dozens of slain bodies of Amazons strewn about. There are the broken bones scattered across by the hundreds in a massive field throughout the cairns. But atop one of the hills, upon which we zoom in with our mental camera, we see that there is a ring of towering skeletal minotaurs, their weapons raised and all spears pointed inwards, penning in what appear to be a group of women. In their leather armors, battered, beaten, and bloody, they are being penned in. And you can see that one woman is clutching her lower stomach as some of the innards are hanging out. The woman, with her reddish hair, middle-aged body, and a stern determination, goes, "Stay back!" as Leto falls to her knees, sees her blood starting to flow out of her body and pool at her knees. The minotaurs begin to move in. Step by step. The spear points are starting to push in at the Amazons as they're trying to beat them away. And then, suddenly, there is a boom, a thunderous explosion of sound up above. Even the skeletal minotaurs turn their skulls upwards to see what is happening, as all the Amazons are just kind of like cowering before the sound. And what seems like a red flame of a light begins to quickly descend down as it hits right in the middle of all of the Amazons. They are untouched, completely fine. As a flame, a wall circular in design, pushes outward and immediately evaporates, turns into dust all of the dozens and dozens of minotaur skeletons. The spears all come clattering down, and you see a man, 6 arms, a single eye, and a little man bun kind of come up, scoop Leto into his arm, and with another one immediately pump divine energy into her body. Stop it, Jason. God fucking damn it.
He did what?
We look around, though, as hundreds, a field of undead are rushing towards the scene. And Leto kind of looks up towards Hephaestus and says, "Can you take them out? I will hold them off." He just goes, I can, but where is she? Where's Daphne? I don't know, she's still in the cairn. They almost have it. As all of the undead suddenly stop. Mid-assault. Frozen. Pull back, and then stand with their spears raised. You see the bones starting to part of the ways as what seems like a towering white figure starting to approach Hephaestus and Leto. An albino minotaur dressed in priestly robes approaches them and says, "Put down your weapons. If you do, we will be fine. An agreement between Carpathos and the Light has been struck." We see as Hephaestus gently hugs Leto in closer and then stands to his full Geigen height. "You tell me!" Fire comes off of him. "Where she is right now, or I will!" We see as Noir puts up his hand, and there's a soft white glow, and Hephaestus drops to his knee. The flames die down, like a flame that suddenly has no more kindling with it. "What is this?" Noir pulls his hand back. "Please, I need you to listen. Peace is on the horizon. Godling, will you put your pride aside and talk?" Hephaestus looks down at his hands, surprised that his power was suppressed. "Is she safe?" "Yes." He looks at Leto. Leto looks at him. And they begin following this albino minotaur down the hillside. "I will make sure that the other Amazons are treated well. All those who have stood down and been disarmed will be kept safe. We're currently collecting the Medusas." And a bovine smile spreads across his face. Time skips a ways. The sun moves maybe an hour or two in the sky, and we suddenly are upon that same field, but a little bit later. A pavilion has been set up. Beautiful red canopy stretching across, a table in the middle, but very meager food has been set out, pretty much the rations that have been salvaged from the Amazon camp. It appears that the entire Amazon force has either been driven off or captured. And a different camp, essentially what is a palisade that has been very quickly put together, but without a complaint and without a pause by the undead minions, penned in are 500 Amazon warriors, the survivors of this battalion. Darian, you stand in a separate enclosure that has been created. A pen that doesn't just have walls, but also a ceiling. Hammered together in wood fitting is a cage. And within that cage are 40 Medusas. Each head of each snake upon their slithering hair has been chopped off. The blood running down their side, the snake body still kind of twitching at times. And you can see that the blood loss has severely affected each of these surviving Medusas. Stepping up next to you is Noir. As agreed. Tell me, little queen, what will you do with them?
I think I have 10 years of ideas to try out. And I want to perfect it before I get to Moxen.
There is a smile that stretches across his face. And he walks over to a table that has been set up there. And there's like a little leather folio that is currently closed with like a little leather belt as he undoes the clasp and starts to unroll. The folio is fairly large. It's kind of bulging in the way that there seems to be a lot in there. And as you see him unroll it, you realize that the folio is filled with pouches upon pouches upon pouches of metallic-looking tools. Saws and clamps, manacles, a bunch of cutting knives, it seems. He looks over his shoulder towards you and beckons you to come.
Take the time to look them over. And I think Darian will toy with a couple knives, and she'll toy with a saw, and she'll look back at the Medusas and kind of think about it, but ultimately she'll pick up her chakram. She'll say, I have the perfect tool right here.
You see a little bit of sadness, a little bit of almost disappointment splay across Noir's face as he, tenderly with these large bovine hands, kind of reaches down towards one particularly interesting looking tool. It looks more like something you might use for whittling or something, and it's almost like this very sharp, very thin little hook. He picks it up and considers it. He goes, I use this one on each of my fingernails. The pain is excruciating, exquisite. Will you do me the favor of at least using it on one? And he holds it out for you to take.
Of course, but don't you want your own retribution? I can spare one for your revenge.
Who do you think took off all the heads? And there's just a smile that splays across.
I'll reach my hand out for the tool. And Darren will spend some time looking at each of them. And I think she'll go up to the one closest to her. And I don't think she's going to say anything to them, because there's no talking their way out of it. There's no pleading for their life. And I think if anyone was near that room, they would just hear screams for the next hour.
Screams in the not too far distance are kind of overlaying the story that Leto and Hephaestus are telling you, Daphne, as you hug your mom and she hugs you back. Hephaestus definitely looks at everyone around, particularly the Minotaurs, with suspicion. He kind of leans him close towards you, and as he gives you a hug, he says, My love, I don't know how, but they were able to suppress my divine gift. And you can see concern in his eye.
I think she'll just look at Hephaestus and nod. There's a lot we need to talk about. Not here, though.
Mm-hmm. Can I take you away now? I don't like being here.
Let me see if Lyra and Brissa want to go.
Just say the word. I'll take everyone.
Never. She'll check up on Lyra and Brissa.
And as you stand up and go to walk away, his hand gently puts itself around your shoulder and he kind of gently turns you around. But I'm glad that you're okay. I was so worried. I couldn't see you anymore, and I know this is probably not the best use of my abilities, but maybe more to talk about,
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're okay.
It's been a long day.
And he just kind of awkwardly pulls you in for kind of what may have been a kiss at first, but then he just kind of gives you a hug.
That's fair. Do we still all look like Amazons still? I forget how long that lasts.
8 hours.
Cool. So we don't gotta worry about that conversation with Mom just yet. Cool. Cool. Gonna find Lyra and Brissa.
You walk and you see in the canopy that has been set up, kind of picking at the shitty rations, the field rations of the Amazons, are Brissa, Scylla, Lyra, and Argenti. Yanni is gone. Or at least not here, I should say. As you see Daphne approach Brissa, you certainly have been kind of looking around for ways to defeat. It seems that indeed these are massively armed forces. It appears that Karpathos clearly has thousands of undead at his disposal, and at least hundreds of minotaurs, soldiers, and priests that serve him. Argenti, interestingly enough, after you left the cairn, it appears that Queen Helen adjusted the enchantment upon the hillock that you're currently at to not have you and Scylla feel wretched.
Thank you all. That is all.
I think Brizzo's just...
that was like oh, sorry.
Brizzo's just depressed, eating food slowly, not really paying attention to anything.
And that was an effect, right? Because I remember when we came in, we felt it was a heaviness, right? Okay.
Oh, it was more than that. You were... Argenti was, bent over with pain and, just... you couldn't even stand. You couldn't even fly in the area.
Good, okay. All right, yeah. He's probably noticeably a little more sturdy. It's more chill, relaxed. Ambient.
As you're kind of just hanging out, looking like a young kid for once, Scylla actually comes up towards you, Argenti. He's like,
oh, yes.
Glacius?
Yes.
I know that my uncles and aunts are not happy with you because of what you did for Lutheria, but I was wondering.
And you can see the young dragon kind of scratch at her head a little bit. She's clearly chewing over how to broach the subject, and you can see that dragons don't blush per se, but she seems clearly flustered and trying to ask you something.
There's no need to be flustered. Any questions you have are natural.
I have a lot of questions about being a dragon. I love my mama, but she's not a dragon, and there are some things that I don't think she knows about. And
that's probably true.
I've asked, there's some stuff that I've asked, aunties about, and the stuff that they told me about egg laying is kind of weird, and I don't know how I feel about that, and I'm glad that it's not here yet. They say that I'll be a full woman dragon one day, and that they'll help me with it. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm more...
A beautiful gift, but yes.
It seems so scary. Why do we have to go through that? It's so... Ew. Anyway, I want to know more about us. About dragons. And what we were like. Because, it sounds like we came from somewhere else where we were very important. And we helped the people here, but it feels like we're not important here, Not really. Not as important as these gods and titans and long rests. No, I'm just kidding.
It's natural to be worried about things like that, but you have to understand when you're amongst kin, you're always important. When you're close to people who really care about you.
Do you really care about me?
Well, you're kin. You're practically a cousin. I mean, our scales don't look the same, but we are. We're family.
And so you do care about me? Sorry, Mama has been giving me bard lessons on legal wording and making sure that people actually say the thing. Because it's so some people are so you ask them something and they're really good about talking around the thing, but not actually answering.
Right.
Yeah.
You're looking for directness.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yes, I do care about you. Yes, Thylea, of course.
Okay.
Just as I care about your mother and
about Lyra.
And about Lyra.
And about Daphne.
And Daphne.
And Darian.
Yes, and Darian. And all of them. Yes.
We can also say Yanni.
Yes, of course. And Yanni.
Okay. Good.
What I've realized is, and I hope you carry this forward and you learn from this, perhaps. Maybe you already know it, but someone doesn't have to look like you to be loved by you. And
I mean, I know that. I love my mama, and she only looks a little bit like me. Not enough, honestly.
Yeah.
Though I know one time she was talking to Papa about a dream she had where she was a big golden dragon, and she's like,
oh,
I don't know, I think she thinks about that a lot. I see her drawing little doodles of her being a dragon a lot with like a crown, and I mean, it looks pretty good. It makes me think, what if I had a crown?
You know, and you deserve one. And also, can you really blame her? I mean, we are fantastic, you know.
We are. I just hope
creatures.
that Mama
We're amazing.
loves herself for herself. I mean, she doesn't have to be a dragon to be fantastic.
Well, you know, even if she doesn't love herself as much as you hope that she would.
No, I mean, she does.
Important.
She loves herself a lot in comparison to Papa. Papa's not so good at loving himself. But Mama is very, she, I mean, it's hard to explain.
It's all right. I mean, she probably wishes, like we all do, she probably wishes she was greater than herself, which could be perhaps why she was seeking godhood for so long. And you know, those things are all
seeking godhood.
Well, I don't think she is anymore, but I think she was at first. Anyway, it doesn't. If she told you that she wasn't, then she absolutely isn't.
Hey, Mama, are you still trying to be a god?
Someone just like look up and just she'll give Sai that look of like that. Not right now.
Her big dragon eyes just kind of go wide, and she's like,
"Oh shit! I said the wrong thing, Malaka."
Are you allowed to swear? I don't want you to get in trouble, but I am
very important dragon of the court.
Swearing.
No, I'm not supposed to swear, but it's family, right?
Yes, but out of respect for your mother's rules, I mean, you should probably keep it clean.
Ugh, whatever. Stupid rules.
Yeah. Well,
how do parents work for dragons, Glacius? Because, I mean, we live for a really long time. And again, the egg thing is weird, and I mean, I guess I have a true pater now, and I don't know. Should I talk to him? What do you think?
Only if you want to. There's no.
I do want to talk to him. I just don't want to make Mama feel weird. Plus, you know, all this stuff. Like Darian has spent a lot of time at his place now, and I feel like I never have time to just like. I don't know, talk to him because she's always there all the time.
Well, she's probably discussing very important things with him.
No, they're doing the egg thing, but for, you know...
The egg thing?
Yeah, they're trying to make eggs.
I'm sorry.
Please tell me this is when Daphne steps in, please. Please.
Sure thing. As you walk up towards that.
Oh, hi, Daphne. How's your mama?
We were just finishing this conversation, Daphne. I don't feel comfortable discussing the egg thing with you, Syla. Respectfully, you should ask your mother, all right?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Darian is making eggs.
She has been having very important conversations with Helios. Very important, loud, probably, conversations. That's news to me. Were you aware of the battle plans they were discussing?
I was not aware.
Oh, sorry.
Syla, can I just ask you, how do you know this?
I mean, Mama's always so busy doing stuff, and she's just like, here's gold. And, when I was young, that was fine, and I could do a lot of games and stuff like that in the palace, but I don't know, with everything going on, Mama was just very busy cleaning up and helping people, and so... I'm sorry, Mama, but I've been trying to talk to Helios, and he's the only dragon in all of Thylea who is like me, and I am his. I know that I'm not technically his daughter, but he's still the dragon from whom I came. I'm related, I think. Yanni talked about things like genetics one time, and there was a lot. He was trying to teach me. He did a pretty good job, but I don't know. It just talked a lot about tables and eye colors and why things are. We can make genetically modified crops and things like that. I don't know. It's too much. But I'm technically related to you, Daphne, because of Mitros's clone. So it's weird. I mean, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, am I your aunt?
I don't know if I'm. If
right?
you're my
Okay,
aunt,
it's weird, right? Okay, I'm so glad that I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Look, this whole bloodline is weird, but
yeah,
if you want to have a relationship with your father,
I mean, I do, but I don't think I'll ever get the chance with Darian and Helios always making eggs. Sorry.
the amount that I relate to that, that Daphne relates to that, is just.
Darian stops mid torture and she's like, "Is someone talking about me? What?"
Kid, I found out if he wants a relationship with you, he'll make time for you.
Good advice.
Okay, but what if he never does?
Her wings kind of
you don't need him.
flatten out. Her little frills kind of sag down a little bit.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I know there is more important things going on. Mama always says you need to read the room, Syla.
No. There is nothing more important than a relationship between a child and a parent. It makes sense.
Mama
don't
says
judge yourself so
taxes
harshly.
are more important.
Where is your mother right now?
First of all, look, I have never once said that.
Remember that time when I wanted to go flying and you said, no, I don't have time. And I said, but don't you make time for me? And she said, yes, but taxes are more important.
That must have been a bad dream because that has never happened once.
What?
Also, your mother is a queen. Do you understand what that means, Syla? Do you know what
I do
queen
understand
is?
what that means. And that's what I'm saying.
Right.
She has important things to do. Helios has important things and people to do. I get it.
She has to balance, while what I said is true, the relationship between a parent and a child is incredibly important. She also has to balance, a whole country.
Uncle Glacius, I get it. You don't have to keep talking in circles. I get it.
Okay.
I'm not
all
a
right.
baby dragon anymore.
Of course. Absolutely. You're very grown and you grown.
Yes.
Well, this is why I don't babysit. Okay.
As this is happening, back in the mausoleum, Karpathos and Helen have asked you to stay behind Yanni. As the three of you stand before Narcissus' mind, Karpathos has brought forth an ancient tome. And in that tome you see every descendant of his line is written in. He turns towards the end of the book. 3 parched pages are still unwritten, but the 4th to last page has a fresh entry. Not so fresh that it's still glistening as if they just wrote it in, but certainly written within recent history. And there you see your name. Your mother and father listed. Birthplace of Aresia. Firstborn of Queen Helen. Rightful king of Aresia.
So did you name me Yanni?
Queen Helen goes, no. I wanted to name you something that spoke of a great story to come. I wanted to name you something that sounded legendary. Yanni is the name that you ultimately took, and I respect that. But originally, your father and I wanted to name you Odysseus.
You don't think the kids would have called me Odd?
And she kind of does one of those as Karpathos just like, he kind of like chuckles into his mustache.
I wonder who named me Yanni then. It was probably Xenia.
And you see her kind of like scowl as Karpathos just gives her a look and just kind of like a little bit of a head shake. Probably, whoever it was. It is your name now. And you are Yanni to me. I know you will likely never see me as your mother. And this is not the relationship that I'm aiming for, at least in the immediate future. What I have become is not exactly suited to be a loving mother. What I have done may prevent you from wanting to see our relationship grow and bloom, if you hold similar beliefs as your friend Daphne does. But if you can keep an open mind, I would like to teach you of Aresia, of your legacy, because it is important, because what we did was important. And you are the last remnant of a people that dared to defy the gods.
I mean, there's still a bunch of Parisians in probably 2 different cities right now.
There are.
You mean I'm the last of the royal line?
Yes.
We might be able to resurrect Sai.
She tenses. Karpathos steps up next to you.
The reason that we had to bear bad news to Barissa as well is that Moxina has been particularly cruel in the way that she goes about killing people, truly killing people. She brought him back, And they killed him again, brought him back, killed him again. And the last time she brought him back, when he struggled, they petrified him. From our spy reports, we know that they pulverize the statues and spread their ashes into the sea.
You know, Argenti can work miracles sometimes. Maybe he can do something. We'll see.
Yanni,
as much because I'd like to know my brother as anything.
How is Argenti able to work these so-called miracles?
It's a powerful dragon. I assume it's something to do with that. Although he was only able to do it after we killed Sidon, so maybe he absorbed some of Sidon's essence? I don't know.
If he indeed carries divine essence upon him. Be careful, my grandson. Divinity corrupts thoroughly. What is that?
I mean,
what is that sound? Someone is tapping very hard against the ceiling! No!
It's just rain. It's just rain. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I mean, he was already a traitor to his kind, so I've kind of got an eye on him anyway. But he seems to be on a good path nowadays, from what I can tell. I don't think we'd still be dealing with him if he wasn't, although, well, Daphne, but Daphne's having another type of issue. Kind of an existential crisis, I think.
I have seen something similar before, yes. Perhaps we should talk with her as well. The last time that I saw a shadow like hers, the Geigans were wiped out. Astor rampaged, and the fields ran with blood.
It sounds like you're implying that Astor's genocidal rage was not necessarily of his own mind.
No, I would
entirely,
not,
at least.
I would not give him that excuse. Of course, it was of his mind. The shadow simply fed it. Whatever is happening to Daphne sits at the center of her being. Questions of insecurity, weakness that she hyper-focuses on. The darkness, the shadow is simply feeding upon it. Like a parasite.
Do you know how to make it go away? The shadow?
I know one secure way, but she would die. And I don't think that that is a preferable path.
I'd like to avoid that at all costs.
Or she deals with the shadow herself. She rises above.
I think she can do that. I think we just need to help her get on the path.
You may want to mend things with her. I have a feeling that she will feel at least some type of negative emotion. It is true, after all, that your mother slew dozens of Azamar in Arisia. It's hard not to take that personally. I get that.
I mean, it's a little hard for me to not... Like, okay, you decided to become a vampire. Okay, fine. I can probably make sense of that, but it's hard for me to reconcile being your descendant and you killed all those Aasimar. and who knows who else. Like, that's hard for me.
He looks over to Helen, and she goes, "It was an invention. Centuries ago."
Oh, well, that makes it okay then.
No. I captured as many Azamara in the end as I could. It is much worse than you think. But in the end, or at the beginning I should say, we were beset by the gods ad infinitum. Again and again they came at us. Sidon crashing the waves against us, Lutheria spilling a mind-altering fog into the hills of Arisia. Enemies within, enemies without, we could not even build defenses. Until one of my forebears learned of Narsus. We quickly understood after he made some statements that were incongruous, how he had become what he was. We understood that he was a god for a time, and so we began experiments to try to see if we could transfer divinity. We could not. We could cause children to occur, and Narsus very willingly participated in these experiments. She looks towards
That's a shocker.
Brain.
That seems to run in the boy side of the family.
Men. And she just kind of like raises her eyebrow, kind of like does like a little bit of a dismissive. Ugh. They're easily controlled. Carpasso kind of shifts around. No offense. After a while, we realized that we could use the blood of the gods in magical crafting, enchantments. The pinnacle of this experimentation led to the Palladium, a device capable of defying the gods themselves. But it came at a price. Blood. And when you assaulted the city, instead of being able to simply drain part of an Azamar's blood and letting them recover again, wiping their memory of what had happened so they could live a semi-normal life, we had to round all of them up, lock them into a room, and with each strafing run of your dragons, with each attack of your siege weapons, it drew more of the power. I'm not going to place the blame upon your feet. It's a decision I made and I will make again if it is necessary. But I prefer that I never have to make the decision again.
You could have surrendered.
To Sidon? Never, Yanni. Never. You must understand one thing about your line, and you can reject it if you choose, but we will never bow to divinity. Never give in, never surrender. If you continue on the path that you have with the light of Thylea, then I suppose that's a different decision that you can make, but I hope that what we talked about in these hallowed halls will apply. That you want to see a way wherein Thylea can finally be free from domination by gods.
I've never been a big fan of the gods. I've never been a fan of the Titans at all. I've never been a big fan of the gods in general. I guess even growing up on the streets without anybody really teaching me anything, there's enough region in me to...
She smiles at that.
To feel that way. But... But I feel like, I mean, I got to know all 4 of the remaining 5 while they were still gods to the extent they ever were. Yeah, Pithor was a fuck up. Vulcan was a grumpy old man in a cave. But I feel like Valis tried to do good things.
Oh, Valis, please. She played
feel
queen, lowering herself to sleep with this disgusting creature, Acastus.
Yeah.
A selfish man. She did not deserve to be treated with such disrespect. The harem that he kept.
I mean, I'm sure she could have stopped him if she really cared, but she chose not to. That says something about her. I mean, she could have just forced the matter with magic, you know? She chose to let him maintain his free will, so that's something.
Sure.
Even if it, you know, was the open secret of Mitros and made her look
Weak.
I don't know, weak or whatever. So, and she, I think, I never really talked to her about it, but I think she went into that whole thing because she saw that Mitros needed a real leader that would look out for the people.
How kind of her. I see.
Kira is... I actually like Kira as an individual, regardless of what she is. She's funny. She makes me laugh. But she's got a serious side. She's very protective. But they're not really gods. That's just it. They learned those traits as mortals. And if we elevate somebody to a god, it would theoretically be the same. But then I've seen the 8 who were also... Wow. This land is really unoriginal in how it names their sub-pantheons. A couple of them... 2 in particular that I'm thinking of have stayed pretty decent individuals from what I can tell. A couple of them are, I think, more selfish than wicked. And a couple of them I'm scared of, to be honest. And I realize if we take couple literally, there's another couple floating around out there somewhere, but I was approximating. But yeah, I think the thing is, at best, raising a mortal to a god amplifies who they are. But I also feel like there's nothing keeping it from amplifying the negative sides of their personality too. And that's what scares me.
They both
and like
not.
before Daphne had this darkness enter her, I don't know, enter her being somehow, or emerge from deep within, whatever happened, I'm not sure. We thought she would be the best of us to take on the mantle of godhood. But now I see how she's... Like, imagine if this had somehow happened to her after ascending her. You know. And that's really got me rethinking. I mean, I've always kind of been opposed to raising up a new god or a new pantheon, just because I'm not a fan. But now I really am just kind of scared of what could happen.
There is another issue. The reason that we wanted to speak with you in private, something that you, of course, would want to raise with the others once you fully understand the scope
She looks to Carapathos.
Yes. You see, we have philosophized, investigated, hypothesized, and committed alchemy upon the matter of divinity itself. As you are aware, we have determined that there are, for a lack of a better term, degrees of divinity.
Yeah. That's how I understand it.
There are offspring of the gods, and those who have traces of divinity within them, such as Daphne and Azamar. Then there are those who are significantly more powerful, who have a true spark of divinity within them. Creatures such as the Titans. But even the Titans, it turns out, are perhaps not what the original Dragonlords would have called true gods. Creatures such as Thylea and Kentimane. There seems that there is some kind of a dilution that happens as the generations are passed on. But that brought about a different topic of investigation. How does divinity become in the first place? Where does it come from?
This is esoteric and complex, Yanni. And please tell me if I bore you with this.
No, this is actually something I've been trying to make sense of. In case I do end up finishing the spell.
Isn't it interesting that we see ourselves superior to animals, for example? And what is the distinguishing factor between a person and, let's say, a boar? They both can perceive the world around them. They might have different concepts of what the world is, how vast it is, what it contains, but both have a concept of self, of pain, of joy. But a boar cannot make true art. A boar cannot dream of true love, building a legacy, leaving something behind. A boar does not commit to philosophy and poetry.
In the same vein, gods seem to be able to actually act upon their dreams for reality, shape existence around them. But we have noticed that gods seem to become associated with a particular idea or ideal, a dogma.
My hypothesis is that divinity is a consequence of consciousness. The way I see the vast cosmos is that it is made out of pure chaos, that slowly but surely crystallizes, finds order, until it becomes so rigid that it cannot be anything but one thing. With the gods, my hypothesis, Yanni, is that even if we slay every god on Thylea, we will not prevent more gods from potentially rising, maybe not next century or millennium, but an eon from now. Belief, the thought in an ideal, the feeling of it, a greater concept can take reality if enough people think the same way about a thing. We see that in ideologies, politics. It is almost as if these things become their own creatures. They can survive a mere mortal dying, or maybe even a group being wiped out. As long as the information can be passed on, it will take hold as a new seed in someone else's mind and spread like a wildfire from there. Gods? Gods are almost as if they are the distillation of an entire people at times.
That's kind of a fascinating take on it. I hadn't considered that angle.
I don't know if I will live long enough to prove my hypothesis.
But if I am true, in my estimation, then it does not matter how many gods will be slain, over time new ones will form. So instead, I took the research that our bloodline has committed to for centuries, and I came with a palladium that could cover all of Thylea. It would never have to use blood again. Instead, drawing its power from the divine artifacts.
I kind of like the idea of a world that's all about free will. Nobody gets to meddle. I mean, obviously people will think they're powerful enough to get to meddle with other people sometimes, but that's a lot easier to deal with.
And they will not have the power to simply wipe out entire people, create a new people, simply for their worship, with nothing more than a thought.
But have you considered the fact that if the myths are true, and there seems to be at least a kernel of truth to them, this very land we're standing on is the body of a god?
Indeed. We have. And the truth is that a small spark, a small sliver of sentience remains within this land itself. However, from the many archaeological digs that we have done over the centuries, we also believe that Thylea came from another world. We believe that Thylea was actually part of another pantheon of true gods, turned her back, and the ever-storm that surrounds all of Thylea, that makes people like us wash upon its shore and find themselves forever trapped, that is Kentemani's doing, to protect his love in eternity. I would like people to no longer be trapped on Thylea.
I think we already fixed that.
Did you? Have you tried to leave?
I think so.
Through the waters?
Through the waters? No. I have actually left Thylea once briefly. That was even before we broke the thing that Sidon had. But that was through some kind of portal that the Fates have on their island. So I don't know what
they give each other a look.
Went into creating that.
And the Fates, spinners of lies and schemes, and webbing minions like flies, feasting upon them and then discarding their desiccated husks. I don't know what Lyra thinks she will get from the Fates, but in the end, once she has served her purpose, she will be discarded. Like a used water skin cast aside, empty and drained. I understand why she would not find herself in the position to side with us, but Yanni, I must warn you. The Fates have their own schemes, and always will. And it will be your end if you trust them.
I mean, considering my encounters with them, what I know about them, both firsthand and through other channels, and the knowledge that they're responsible for me being what I am. Yeah, I haven't trusted him for a long time.
He nods at that. And I know that I said it, but I want to say it again. Yanni, I am sorry for what happened to you. It is my fault. You should have been my son. I should have had you by my side.
Well, you know, if it makes you feel any better, it's not like I've had a bad life. It was a hard life, but I think I read almost every book and scroll in the library.
Good. A true Oresian. You would have made a great monk.
I mean, I got spaghetti arms, so I don't know how well that would have played out.
You would have looked a lot more like your brother, I feel like.
Probably.
Anyway, I believe you and your companions have a lot to talk about. If you have further questions, you can reach out to us at any time. I will allow your sending to reach us. I must admit that I find myself surprised that you and your friends were willing to speak.
I don't think a lot of my friends were. Just they played along to stay alive so far.
Well, you may want to advocate them.
Yeah.
Find your own path, of course.
Yeah, no, I'm quite certain that Lyra's not the only one who's not at least 100% on board with the current plan. And to be honest, I have some misgivings still, but I'm willing to see it through until something happens that shows me I'm on the wrong side of things. I don't know that will happen. I'm not trying to say that's a definite, just saying. I feel like there's no single right answer to this whole problem, but yours seems the most in line with my own thoughts. I'm going to need you to explain to Daphne why you have her uncle's head or brain in a giant vat over there. There is zero chance in any number of nether seas that she's going to want anything to do with any plan of yours until she understands the borderline genocide on her people and what's going on with Narcissus here.
Well, science, alchemy. Dragons have significantly larger brains than most mortal creatures, and...
Right, that's why he's in a vat and not a jar. I get that.
No. He's also floating, by the way. It's technically there's no liquid around him. As you look towards that. I needed a lot of psychic power, and it turns out the hypothesis of more brain, more power did actually work out in this case. When he turned back into a dragon, well, we had plans. She looks at Carpathos, and he's like, we still possess the rest of his body.
So is that really physically his brain, or is that like some kind of manifestation that you've pulled out?
It is his brain. Preserved.
Wow, okay.
If you want to, you can certainly bring him back, but we would be losing a powerful tool. It is purely utilitarian. Also, transporting a dragon was significantly more difficult than a brain.
Don't word it like that when you explain it to Daphne. Calling it strictly utilitarian might get you stabbed. I'm not saying it's not going to end worse for her if she goes that way. Well, she uses a hammer most of the time, so probably not stabbed so much as walloped, but I'm just saying.
Sure. I mean, she had the opportunity to wallop me, but she didn't take it.
Yeah, but if you go talking about her family like they're nothing more than a commodity, I don't think she's going to take that well.
This will never happen again. Her people will never be a commodity again. If it makes her sleep better at night.
I'm sure some part of her will be happy to hear that, but she's a whole lot of
angry,
a seething ball of rage and despair these days. So,
so short.
Kind of know your audience, kind of thing.
Carpathos just kind of puts a hand on her shoulders, like, enough. Thank you, Yanni, for the audience. If you have further questions, we will speak.
Okay. Yeah, I need to go ponder some things.
Here's an orb.
As you walk out of the, as you start walking out of the mausoleum, Helen goes, "Oh, by the way, please do not actually try to use the book that you stole from us. It is a trap. It will kill whoever is going to attempt to actually read it and attune to it, trap their soul inside of the book, and then send it back here. So I just want to say, if you maybe want to return it, I would appreciate it. It's a fantastic trap."
Thanks for the heads up, and hopefully it's not too late.
And they both kind of get a little bit quieter, kind of just shift around as we go towards Darian. Your bloodied chakram is upon the table. There are towels that are just drenched with blood as you take the last one and get the last splotches off of you. And you blur a little bit as the camera looks over your shoulder. Not completely in focus, but we see a small mound of dead bodies.
Parts. Dead bodies. There's not a single body that is intact. And I didn't lay on hands with them either. I just cut them off.
But why?
I know, right?
You could
I
make
had
it
a
work
lot
rhyme
more than
so
you
much
did.
worse.
You only had the one. You had the one. I had a lot to go through.
It's efficiency.
Yeah.
Darian, as you're cleaning up, you see that suddenly there's a sharp inhale of breath, and sandals kind of shuffling on the ground. And you look over to your right, and you can see that the group of Amazons that Leto had led stands there, their eyes wide. The large woman kind of goes, "Oh, Queen Darian?" You see her eyes kind of look over towards the cage with all the parts, and then back to you, and then back to the cage, and then back to you. Is now a good time?
Now's the perfect time.
Okay.
What is it you need?
We wanted to speak, to advocate for the Amazons that are being held as prisoners. Are they going to be turned into... She looks to one of the towering Minotaur skeletons that has been just kind of silently witnessing your onslaught, and you can see that there's like splecks of blood just kind of like spattered across it.
No, they'll remain unharmed. They're going to be given a chance to go to the right side.
And what if they go to the wrong side? Are they... Looks at the body parts.
That is another day's problem. But I don't plan on killing any Amazons if I don't need to. Medusas, on the other hand, there won't be a single one left alive by the time this war is over.
They all look at each other and then all kind of get to a knee. Yes, my queen, they all say in unison.
Daphne's mother, Leto, is she alright?
Oh, she's, the more spry looking one. She's at the pavilion with the Geigen. Also, my queen, I'm sorry if this is out of turn, but Daphne and the Geigen...
We love who we love.
That's...
I've heard six hands is great. I don't know.
And they all kind of chuckle amongst themselves. I guess so. I mean, good for her.
Can't say it. Okay. But it's about the only way men would be useful. But let's.
And they all, yeah, go like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm done here. Why don't you take me to them?
They all bow, and then, as your honor guard, follow you to the pavilion. Yanni, you have arrived not too long after Daphne did, as you see Leto and Hephaestus also kind of walking up. He has since put Leto down. She's walking on her own accord. But you all kind of arrive at about the same time. Darian is not currently there, but as you step up with everyone else, and Leto kind of like walks over and puts an arm around you again, Daphne. Hey, kiddo.
Hey.
That was a little close. You couldn't have hurried up a little bit more?
She gives you a little mischievous grin.
I almost died, it turns out.
Oh, God.
So did we!
So I heard.
He just keeps on walking by.
Where's he going?
I do not know. Yeah, sorry. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah. You slowing down on me?
Oh, I hurt worse than that fucking spear. Oh, I mean, listen. I fought a lot more fights than you have, even as a Light of Thylea member. And yes, after a while, it kind of takes your toll. Your bones start to grind against each other more. Oh, I was supposed to have retired, but now, I wasn't supposed to be fighting anymore. I have a nice man waiting for me back in Astoria. One who's actually not just a little fucking idiot, so I would much rather be there than doing this, but I guess I had to take care of my little girl. She gives you a little bit of a look.
No one forced you to do this. In fact, I remember...
You are not a mother.
Asking.
You don't understand what it means to be forced to protect your child.
She kind of like sees you looking down. She puts her thumb underneath, or her we'll say her thumb kind of under your chin and puts it up. Hey.
Just giving you shit, huh? We won. We won. What is going on with you? Something is off.
You mean other than the fact that we sided with
Yeah, we're going to
monsters?
talk about that when we're not here, I figure.
Oh, I don't care. They fully know how much I hate them.
Okay, should they know how much you hate them? Because they kind of have hundreds of troops around us right now.
Daphne's gonna look at the closest bone minotaur and just flip it off. Like she
Just no reaction from the bone minotaur.
It's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So what is the
I
plan
can quote
anyway?
Damned if I know.
Yanni, you took some of the shitty rations and you're at the table now as Darian kind of approaches with her honor guard as well.
Darian, true queen of Themis.
One of the women steps forward and announces before Darian even walks into the pavilion.
Hey, Darian.
Hi, Yanni.
You're kind of bloody looking.
Oh,
Like spatter that's not from you being the one who got hit. Bloody looking.
yeah, sorry. I took care of the Medusa problem.
Oh. Feel better?
No, just,
Yeah. I've
More
heard that's kind
resolute.
of how it goes.
yeah.
Did you leave any alive to question?
No, but there's a few heads intact if you want to.
Yeah, fair enough.
One of those.
We can do that. Probably won't want to talk to me.
Yeah, so they didn't really give us a lot of information before. I'm wondering if one of the Amazons would be more willing to share with us, or at least pass on a message. We have our fake Caduceus. We have a plan, or the beginnings of a plan. How's the rest of our group? And she'll take a quick scan, I think, of everyone else in the pavilion.
I'm pretty sure me playing nice with the bad guys strained some relationships. But I'd rather be all of us alive and some of them a little mad at me, or a lot mad at me even, than anybody dead. So I'm okay with it right now. I mean, you know, Brissa just found out her baby's been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And basically we're talking about doing something that flies in the face of what Lyra's power source, for lack of a better word, wants her to do. And I mean, Daphne's just mad at the world lately, and I just made nice with people that fucked with her family pretty hard. So there's that. But I think I might be good with Argenti right now. And maybe you.
You kept me alive. I was going to die. Had you not said anything, I wouldn't be here. So I may not agree with how it happened, but I'm glad that you were able to talk to your mother.
Yeah, I'd rather we don't call her that. I'm not there yet. This really wasn't about them being my family. It's interesting to learn some things. But yeah, I'm not there yet. Yeah, this was really a decision based more on keeping everybody alive and trying to, I don't know, take an enemy off the table in any way that I could. If it meant making I don't want to say friend, making an ally of them, at least until we see that that's a bad idea. I'm okay with that.
Right. And if nothing else, it was a really good experiment, too.
Yeah.
We had to test their metal, and now we know.
Yeah. We learned maybe we don't open up to floating brains. And I look at Lyra.
There's that.
I think we can all agree. The next time we go up against a big bad, if I had to label them, we might want to determine if we're going to negotiate, if we're just going to kill. I feel like we should really choose that next time.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wasn't expecting everybody to just go balls out against them violently when they were clearly willing to talk. But it is what it is.
Right. And whatever decision
to the
we
very
make,
core of my
right
bones right now from whatever the hell that Banshee did, but
yeah, no, that still hurts.
But yeah.
Brissa.
So we'll look up.
Are you good to come plan with us?
I'm here and just angry, upset, sad, I everything.
Well, then let's plan your revenge. It won't make it better, but gives us a purpose, gives us something to focus on.
I am all for that.
Okay. Who had a fake Caduceus? Because didn't they make a fake Caduceus for us? Okay. Well, I'll pretend it was in my back pocket, and I'll pull it out. And I'll put it on the table in front of us.
As you do, the book also kind of comes cascading down, the one that Helen talked about that you had stolen. As it kind of...
Oh, I've been wanting to look at this since I knocked the chains.
Yeah, no, it's a trap. Leave it alone. Just leave it on the table when we leave.
I got some good loot. We'll frisbee it over the side of the room.
5 hours later, a young Amazon goes, "Oh, I wonder what's in this book."
Oh, what a life lesson.
Death.
Her last
Exactly.
life
What a
lesson,
death
but it's a
lesson.
life lesson. So, we have a fake Caduceus. We still have the fire. Correct, Lyra?
She just nods. This whole time, she's just been sitting in the corner, eyes closed, kind of not present, because she's basically resigned herself to figuring out how to fix this on her own. So she's just been internally planning and thinking about what she's going to do next, and has not been listening to anyone in the tent.
Lyra, are you finally doing those breathing exercises I told you about? No?
Nothing.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh. Exceedingly well.
I'll try the ring link. Because that's just a mental, right? Lyra. Actively ignoring is not something that we need right now. If you want to be angry, but be helpful. And I will stop that message.
You just hear, yes, we still have the fire. And then you would see her slip the ring off and set it next to her.
We do still have the fire. So, where do we want to make our next stand?
I mean, I guess the question is, what are we doing with the gods, or are we doing it the gods? You know, Sky Daddy and Sun Mommy.
Is Hephaestus right here too?
Yep.
Cool. Great.
Are we dealing with them first, or are we dealing with Themis first?
All 3
is the
sets of
question.
arms are crossed in front of him now, as he say that.
You might want to explain what you're talking about before you get punched a bunch of times by a god.
I mean, I think Hephaestus knows that they're not the most amicable of his compatriots. So we
What
have to either
exactly is your
convince.
plan? Because it sounds to me that you get yourself into this situation a lot. You go head first, you swing at everything with your little stick. And this time you almost died.
It's quite a big stick, but
He looks...
Oh, look,
Lucia's fucking
we're not having a stick
towering
measuring
form.
contest here.
Yeah.
Hephaestus, I have a very quick question. Can you remove another god's gift that they've bestowed?
What do you mean?
Is that within your the Moon Maiden, she gave me a gift. And I would like it removed. I could attempt to do it myself, but I'm worried of the consequences of doing that.
Not that I'm aware of. I didn't purposely choose a champion for a long time. Usually we can just take away boons that we gave. I don't give boons usually anyway. I make things, and that's what I did. I mean, I made Daphne's hammer even more amazing than it already was. It's already really good, my love. It was very good. It's just 2 milligrams off balance on the... Okay.
It's good. That's good.
Understood, though. Thank you. I didn't realize.
I know that it is frustrating because you're worried about her controlling.
Well, she's probably listening right now. I'm assuming everything we're doing is probably not private.
Actually, I could not see Daphne anymore when you came here.
Oh. Oh. Well, that's good news. It's a micro amount of good news, but it is good.
Which is also why maybe we do need to talk, figure something better out. What is your plan? Really, you want to just fight more people? Why aren't we doing something that finally gives everyone peace? Let things rest. Help us defeat the Titans and we can figure things out after.
So we'll look to Yanni and be like, I think we made a deal for our lives, basically, to have no gods at all.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Yes. More or less.
Wait,
But
you're
it was...
serious? He looks at you, Daphne.
Like tears are running down her face, but like she's just so angry that like her fists are closed so tightly. Yeah, I guess we're serious.
He puts his hand over your hands.
And
His voice drops to a very dangerous low.
I will bring down a mountain from 1,000 heights high. I will break down the barrier between the sea and this place. You give the word, and I will annihilate everything that they are.
What in front of my mom? Jesus.
I've got another 2 hands.
You guys
Love a man who's open with his feelings, all right?
So we've left out the part where we don't want to kill any entities that we don't have to.
You could have maybe mentioned that.
Yeah, we're looking into a way to divest you of your divinity if you so choose that route. Or there's always leaving Thylea for another place. That's now an option as far as I know.
He kind of looks around. He looks at his hands. And then he looks at Daphne.
And that is what you want.
I don't know what I want anymore. I know that's a meek and pathetic response, but the gods I've had don't really live up to standards. You're probably the best god I've ever met. I thought we were all in agreement of one of us becoming a god.
And that was supposed to be you.
I've changed. And I can see why I perhaps am not a good candidate anymore.
Daphne, in your mind, you hear, that is right.
Fuck.
Ooh, that darkness.
Why do you shiver?
You hear a voice continue.
I lost a lot of blood.
In your own
Fair.
voice. And it's like instead of the pavilion, you suddenly find yourself in the mausoleum again. There's no floating brain. The sarcophagi are closed. There's nobody here but you. Except as you look down, you see the dead bodies of your compatriots splayed open, drained of blood, desiccated before you. And you look at your hands as they're shivering, and you see a reflection in their blood upon your feet. And your voice, your lips moving, says, I let this happen. I almost let this happen. I let this happen. I let this happen. I let this happen. You're back into it. My love. My love.
I think Daphne throws up. I think she's so stressed and she just throws up. I'm sorry.
Did
I'm
you
sorry.
see-
He just like grabs your hair and kind of like makes sure like with one hand it's out of the way. Another one he just literally grabs, like rips a piece off of his own like tunic off of him and like starts to wipe at your face. With the third hand he like prestidigitates the puke away.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You have nothing
I'm
to be
sorry.
sorry about, my love. Are you alright?
Of course I'm not. No, I'm sorry.
Okay,
no,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
not.
No question.
No. I'm sorry. What the fuck are we doing? Are we really doing this? Are we really just? Are we damned to repeat what we've done with Sidon? Do we really feel like this is the right choice?
For me, it was the right choice because we're all still alive. That's what it came down to.
Fine.
Bristol will say through her ring, I still don't think it was the right choice. Just through the ring.
Then we're not safe to chat here fully in confidence. We're not safe to chat outside of here in full confidence. We are spied on wherever we go.
Mm-hmm.
And you could like just wave your hand and like give us a place where that can't happen, like.
You looking at
Or Lyra?
Hephaestus?
Lyra can open her demiplane.
Yeah, we could have gone in that room. We could have gone in your room, Lyra! You took off your ring!
Oh no. Oh no. I have the opportunity to do the most fucked up thing right now.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh no.
Do it.
The darkness kind of
do it for
goes
the
out of
drama.
Daphne a little bit. It's like,
We're not. Do it.
Do it for the drama.
I will actually, because I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and we kept fighting stuff. We're in a tent though, I need a wall. Technically.
I mean, just a solid surface, right?
Right, I know we talked about how I could technically use the floor.
You could use.
I could
the
even probably
table.
use a table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about opening up a gateway, just to make that clear. Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'll you know what? I'll get off the bench that I'm sitting on and I'll sit it up against one of the supports of the tent, and I will cast Demiplane. But I do not open the
Can you do that?
Demiplane.
Didn't you open it during the fight?
Oh, did it? Oh, that's right. Narcissus made me do it.
Hashtag.
Then I guess not.
Ah,
I didn't mark it off. That's why I thought I still had it.
Go through all the motions.
Can you do anything about it, where we can speak privately somewhere?
I don't think so, but let me ponder for a second with my eyes on my character sheet.
Flick, 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 flick.
Besides, Hephaestus, like, if he could just do it somehow. Wave God.
Hephaestus, can you give me a spell slot back?
Yes.
I wish.
Oh.
What?
I mean, it's just a little bit of power, right? Sure.
Like a 6th level bit of power. Wait, no. Just kidding. An 8th level bit of power.
Oh.
Sure. Why not? I don't really know how to do this. I think I have to.
Oh no.
Can I?
Well, honestly,
touch
if
on
I
the
die,
head?
it'll be worth it. Yeah, sure. Do whatever you think is right.
All right. And he kind of focuses in, and suddenly there's just like red energy that starts to coalesce on his like up down from his shoulder, up his arm, and into the palm of his hand. As it starts to shine, it's almost like all the veins are glowing red. As he kind of opens his eye, and it's just like glowing red as well. As he reaches forward and kind of touches you upon the forehead, there is a flash. Lyra, roll me a d100.
Do I die? Please tell me I just die and don't have to deal with it.
No, you can't. No.
I got a 49.
I have to deal with it. You have to deal with it.
Do I shit myself?
You guys see as the magic flashes from his hand and into her mind, suddenly
Oh, don't look in there.
a million strands, like spidery webs, reveal themselves, fanning off of Lyra's body and into the ether. You see that these strands converge upon her neck, like the lower nape, upon her shoulder blades where the wings meet, into her wrists and ankles. And they're just like, it's like a flash. It's like a fiberglass that suddenly has a singular pulse of light shooting through it. The red light kind of dissipating as Hephaestus kind of pulls back. No!
Love you, okay?
Am I okay?
Lyra, you kind of like open your eyes, and for a second you see these strings attached into you, kind of like throughout you. It's like there's this thin wrapping that you see of crisscrossed laced strings all across your body, and then it disappears. And you don't feel more powerful. What?
Well, that didn't work, so...
That was not... I'm sorry, my love. I thought I could do this.
No, I thought you could too. Lyra, are you alright? Are you feeling...
Did I do something
Are
to
you
you?
okay?
Did I break you?
I feel fine. Not better or worse. So, if we wait until tomorrow, I can do it then.
Okay.
And I'll just sit back down.
If you describe this thing, maybe I could do that too. Maybe. Doing this whole divine thing is interesting. It's a lot of power. It exhausts you over time, but it's fun. Where are we
Please.
trying to go? Some demi-plane?
Yes.
What is a
That's what
demi-plane?
Johnny said.
What makes it demi? Like a demigod? Is there some god blood in it? Is it made
I mean,
by
there will
God?
be if you and or Daphne come with us.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Your friend is funny. You need to keep him around more.
It can look like anything,
Or
right,
not.
Lyra?
No, it just looks like an empty room. You can put stuff in it, but...
Can you show it to me? Or maybe I can try to look inside your mind? With your permission. I don't know, whatever would be easiest. I don't really like the thought. I don't
Well, I
really
mean,
like to be
letting
in this
people look in
thought.
my mind is apparently how... It's how we got here in the first place, letting people look in my mind.
Oh.
So...
That's right. Darian said no more trusting brains? What?
Yeah,
What
so
happens
sorry, I
down
guess...
there?
I said
I guess
floating
that's
brain.
off limits. I guess that's off limits, looking in my head. So.
I said if it's a floating brain. I didn't say Hephaestus.
Well, technically, it's not floating, but it is propped up upon the spinal column, you know. So, do you consider that to be floating? No, my brain is.
I mean, based on the heads I've seen cracked open, there's some kind of fluid in there, so it's kind of floating.
Fluid in the brains that I saw today. Around them.
Okay.
I
would
don't
like
know.
everybody to let's take a moment and sort of reel it back in. And let's actually talk about what we're doing. I don't think we have a solution to a demiplane. I think we just need to speak very plainly. No matter where we go, let's just assume we're being watched. So let's own it, be unafraid, and put our chins up, okay? Put our self-pity behind us, and let's continue, please. Because the whole world literally depends on it.
Lyra, as he says this, you suddenly see words forming. It is almost like strings form into words, but it's not like they form at like a specific place in the middle of the air, though it kind of looks like that. But as you move your eyes and your head, they just form. It's almost like upon your eyes, and they move as you look.
Oh, I must be dehydrated.
And as you see the words starting to form out of those strings, the string spells "Do not trust anyone."
Lyra doesn't know how to spell stuff in the air, so she's just gonna think really hard. Well, yeah, you don't gotta tell me twice.
And the strings disappear from your vision. With that, you see as Carpathos and Queen Helen start to approach the pavilion as well. At their sides are the albino minotaur, as well as Gore the Great, the black-furred minotaur gladiator.
Oh, Lyra!
I'm angry. I'm so angry.
As they approach, Noor announces both of them, and they walk into the pavilion. Gore kind of standing with his arms crossed, kind of looking at the back of the pavilion, but looking at you, Daphne, kind of sizing you up. As Noor sits down at kind of like the far end and starts to eat some of the rations, Helen and Carpathos kind of nod towards you, sitting as well at the table.
So, we have a matter to discuss in terms of getting the ships from Arisia so that we can assault Themis. Would you be willing to aid in this endeavor?
Who are they talking to?
I think us.
As a collective.
Is there someone that controls all of you? A leader?
Well, Brissa is the queen.
Really.
That's pretty
Is
rich.
she your queen?
She's just a queen.
Exactly.
What would you need us to do? Get the ships?
Distract. We are going to draw the Sidonian forces from the city as best as we can. We are worried about the Titans, but we have...
And he looks at Noor, and Noor kind of nods.
ways to stave off their powers for a time.
You see Hephaestus kind of uncomfortably shift at that. You will have to, however, deal with the storm rocks that Sidon has bred over the years. Chalcea
was able to save a squadron of them. They have Geigen storm priests that guide them, ensure that they do not destroy the ships as they leave. Oh, I should mention, of course, when Sidon took over my city, he forced many of the people to stay behind, forcing them to become servants, lest their families be slain. Many of the sailors were forced to stay and not allowed to leave, which I believe was a violation of what you had been promised. Be that as it
And the
may,
oath is...
well, they were not made to believe in Sidon as their god. They were given the option to leave if they wanted to, but they would be hunted down and killed. So, the fleet stayed, the sailors stayed, and you can imagine that true Eurasians would have rifled at this thought. So, they are going to heed our call. We just need a distraction and security. We will be the distraction. You will be the security for the ships. Though, and her eyes kind of look over to Hephaestus, who's like, what?
Absolutely not.
You are a god. Yes. If you could help us draw the Titans out, your loved would be significantly safer. If Thylea or Chelsea or any of the Titan brutes suddenly appeared, I don't know if she could survive. No offense. And I would rather ensure that she doesn't come to harm.
How dare you?
It is a smarter move. That is how I dare. Or would you rather try to go there by yourself? You do not have to help us. We can do this without you. But we take our promises seriously.
Can we please just continue?
I agree. Thank you, Argenti. So, Hephaestus, I asked you a question. He kind of looks at you, Daphne. I think that I need to talk with Daphne about this. Alone. And then I can give you an answer. Are you not your own man? It's not. That is not. That has nothing to do with it. You have. Do you not see how offensive you are? The words that come out of your mouth are like daggers. We are supposed to supposedly work together as you undermine me. I became a god of this world so I could protect it. All who live within it. That is what I work towards. What you're proposing is just more bloodshed. Yes. But targeted, finally with a goal and an end in sight. Not this senseless being torn around and used left and right. You, God of the Forge, are being used by the Sky Father and Sun Mother. A good little lapdog to do what they want you to. Hephaestus stands up. Enough! The pavilion kind of shakes. Part of it kind of flaps up as he's once again just like in fire, and you see Noir kind of like starting to lift up his hand as Hephaestus is like, and he's about to like essentially like swing towards Noir as Carpathos just slams his hand on the table. Enough with the childishness. Enough of the drama. Can we please progress in an orderly fashion for the time being? Please, I beg all of you to act as the adults that I know you are.
You better be looking at Helen too, I swear to God.
Oh yeah.
Good. Looking in the mirror too?
Fine. I believe it is the smartest way. If you can rally the support of your other gods, fighting the Titans will be significantly easier. Our means of suppressing are limited, and we would not like to use it if we don't have to. So, that could also strike multiple objectives. If we can kill some of the Titans again, they will once again be out of the fight. And from the sound of it, you'll want to ensure that some of the Octad are no longer a problem, isn't that right?
Hephaestus does kind of like sit back down. We have not talked about this either.
You can openly speak here. They will not be able to hear you.
No, but you can.
If you do not trust me, then let's fight. And I will rip your spine out of your fucking body right now.
As Carpathos just goes and backhands Helen. As she like falls down, he's just like, enough, I said.
Oh my god.
Helen just kind of looks up at him with just murderous eyes, looking down at her bloodied lip that very quickly heals back up. How dare you? How dare I? You have got so used to your pampered royal life to treat people like ants. Have you forgot what we fight for? For the freedom of the average person. To not be treated like dirt. Enough, I say. If you want to be alone to discuss your options, you may. I am under the impression that we are going to act in good faith. Should that change, then blades will be drawn and we will fight honorably upon the battlefield. I hope it does not come to that. Yanni was able to ask his questions. He will be able to inform you of our goals. If you do not agree with the things that we have to say, then I suppose this will be our last gentle conversation, which will sadden me. But for now, we have issues. Our world is at war with itself. There are so many forces fighting against one another, and we do not need to be at each other's throats in this moment. Can we at least agree upon that?
Yeah, I can agree with that. So I would... But I think we would all just like some privacy. We never have a moment to speak with ourselves. There's always someone listening in.
You're free to leave.
Yes, because then the 8 could listen in.
And Voxana.
And Voxana.
And the Titanlings.
Looks at
Yep,
Hephaestus.
pretty much everyone.
Don't you have godly powers to do things? I do. Should we leave?
I mean, I think we're all okay leaving. If you know somewhere safe that we can go, that we can talk.
I mean, I just make a new place.
That, you know, I'm pretty sure we said that like 20 minutes ago, so that
I
would
know.
be great.
I appreciate that it took that full circle to get there, but we got there in the end.
And I was ready to do it, but I wanted to enable Lyra to have the agency to be the one that provided the thing, you know? I mean...
Yeah,
Right.
Look at
and
Queen
that
Helen.
didn't
I'm like, you're
work,
really
and-
threatened by these guys.
And then they showed up. So
Did you just hear that?
It did, but
Let's just go to this new place, right? Let's let's
Right,
just go there so that we can talk.
Everyone, come here then. Don't talk to my beloved like that again.
Can you get my husband to this new place? Is that possible? It's all right. If you can't.
I can get him after. Sure.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
don't run yourself too thin.
Preferences? Like, what kind of a vibe are we going for? Is there like a specific?
Calming. We're going for calming.
Okay.
Very calm.
All right. 3, 2, 1. As he slaps all of his hands together, there's a flash of red energy, and we're going to take a very quick potty break. See you guys shortly.
Mhm. Okay.
Yep.
I love that.
This is the energy we're bringing back.
Yum, 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 yum.
Wow.
Oh, it's tasty. Oh my! I forget that my mic is like that. Right here. Cool.
Argenti, we said stop making noises when we teleport places.
But I can
be
make a cat if I try hard enough.
Oh no, he's back to an old man.
Who let him cast Wish?
Plus 14.
Oh, no.
Let's talk about making eggs.
Let's
What if
talk
we just
about-
give up?
Man.
Start a family.
I'm just playing.
Talking about tea.
Start a
Hi, everyone.
family.
We're back. As the red flash dissipates, you suddenly find
Not to
yourself.
be confused with the yellow flash. He's the bad guy.
You find yourself standing in a kind of warm place. You immediately feel a little bit of heat pushing up against you, and you realize that you're in the middle of what looks like a foundry. There's a bunch of, smelting pots. There are a bunch of furnaces, kind of roaring hot. As he goes, "Okay, don't judge me. This is the most peaceful thing that I could think of. In the moment, I can adjust things, but it's so much more exhausting than I thought it would be."
You're fine. Please don't
You're good.
press yourself further.
Yeah.
Oh
this is
no, it's so. It's okay. It's fun. I didn't really get to use my powers much, and this is cool. All right. I think you all always liked baths, right? So I can. He kind of turns around, and suddenly a stone wall kind of pulls backwards, and there's just like a bath that suddenly appears there. Beautiful marble depiction of all of you guys kind of like springing into existence around the pool. There's a round pool behind like the larger depth pool that is kind of just like a round indentation in the ground. You see the water bubbling away. You can see suddenly they're hanging plants that just kind of appear from nowhere. The ceiling opens up and there's just like what looks like sunlight kind of streaming into the place. This is it, right? Argenti, thanks again for that tip, by the way. I'll get that snail mucus cream that you talked about. It's supposed to be good for your skin. Oh shit, that was supposed to be for your birthday. I'm sorry, Daphne. But I can get some. That will help.
Yeah. Good for your paws and also aging, scarring, many things.
Right.
Anyway, that doesn't matter. But yeah. No. Well, we're all aging. It's not something to be afraid of.
More spices.
Leto's just there, as well as the other Amazons with you, Darian.
This is going to be a light of Thylea talk. I look at Daphne. I don't want to presume for your mom, but the rest of you can go.
I can send them back to Themis, and he's about to clap.
No. No.
Yeah, we really just brought everyone, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm want more people?
We should keep tight.
Just
Keep it tight.
closed?
Keep it tight before we figure
Well,
it
I mean,
out.
Tight.
All right.
Listen, I'll bring them to a banquet. You all like to eat, right? What's your favorite? And he kind of like takes them. My love, I'll give you all some time. Anything you wish for, it will appear for you. All right.
Please don't strain yourself.
Yeah, I'm a god. It's fine. What could strain me? All right. Everyone, please welcome to this mind palace. As he kind of leads the Amazons away, Leto just kind of walks up towards you, Daphne. I guess I'm not included in this little club talk of yours, but that's fine. I'll take
Probably
care of
safer
mine.
if you're
You
not.
take care of yours. What?
That you're probably safer if you're not a part of it. That was all.
Oh, yeah, that kept me very safe the first time around. Listen. Kiddo, something...
But did you die?
I didn't, yes. And that was...
I did.
Oh. You seem very
Well, not
alive.
die.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's stop
bad
trying
guy
to
had to bring me
out-die
back.
each other, alright? Let's... Yeah.
I'd like walk away before we have this conversation that she's trying to have.
She's walking away. And she turns around and walks
I love
away.
you.
Oh shit! I thought you were too avoidant to say that, but I love you too. From the moment that I pushed you out of me, almost died in childbirth, bringing you into this world. But now you just inch away from your own mother. I know everything about you. I've been there for everything, and then you just inch away like a little inchworm. Ay, Daphne. I love you.
Man, growing up an orphan definitely has its benefits.
God damn it. You gotta get Daphne with that one. Like, there is just a little. Yep.
As with that, you guys walk towards where the bath is, and the wall just closes down, except for like what looks like a secured adamantine double door.
If I just think something, does it appear? Does it work for us too?
What are you thinking?
A stool. I'm not getting naked.
It does not appear.
Okay. I'm just lean up against the wall.
When you think it does not seem to appear, no.
Okay.
The hot
Bathing
vapors
suit?
of the bath are just kind of like hanging in the air. And there's no such thing as a bathing suit in ancient Greece. It's called your birthday suit.
What? You know what? I look hot. I'm young. I do.
As you get into the water.
I'm bloody. Let's go.
We do also still look like Amazons. So
You do,
Yeah. I look hot. I'm young. Let's do this.
well,
What
no,
do I care?
like as in you're naked, but you still just look like a fully armed Amazon.
Even better. It's like a little secret. You just see clothes fly off through the illusion.
The shotgun goes flying.
I gently place those down.
8 hours? I don't know.
The hot water feels extremely nice on your very sore muscles.
Guys, there's no judgment. It is exactly what we need after the shit we've been through in the past 12 hours.
12 hours, 3 years,
Yeah, I was trying to put a cap on it, but you're right.
All drama, no
Or in
cap.
your case, most of your life.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I'll put my feet in. Hoist up the skirts a little bit.
Yeah, fine. If he was going to expend all this energy, might as well use it.
Come on, Yanni.
Yanni's already in. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, shit.
Those all-
Like,
those
he
all
just
already went
cannonball.
flying. Cannonball.
Come on, Lyra. You can be mad in the water.
Can you be mad in the water? It feels so good.
And Daphne
I
hold out
very
a
much
hand for
could be
Lyra.
mad in the water.
Yeah, come be mad in the water.
Can Daphne just hold out her hand for Lyra? Just. Come on.
Okay, she gets in the water.
Yeah. Brissa.
Oh, Briss is in. Yeah, she's just.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
We're all just having this moment, and Priscilla's just like, all right.
This is swimming.
Just doing laps.
How big is this pool?
It turns into
Yeah.
infinity pool. Just like keeps making a new path for Brissa.
Damn. Well,
So, I mean, I will be in agreement, but I don't think necessarily creating an undead army and having a bunch of undead people is the best end-all solution.
No. I'm just so you guys know, I'm not 100% on board with their tactics. I do like the idea of trying to find a way to just not have gods. I really do like that. I've liked that idea for a long time before I had any clue that those people were thinking that or that they were my family or anything. And this has nothing to do with them being my blood relations, because that doesn't mean a whole lot to me. But yeah, I'm tired of fighting, and I'm tired of seeing you guys get hurt all the time, and I was just trying to avoid both, is really what all that was.
Well,
Can I? Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, Argentine.
Can I just want to ask a much larger question? I feel like maybe there's a little bit of confusion, or maybe we're not all on the same page. What is our goal? What do we want? What keeps us going? What's the point of all of this?
I want to not have to fight gods and their offspring anymore. That's what I want. I want to live in a free world where they aren't causing problems for people, and yeah, that's what I want.
That's fair. A free world. Does anybody disagree? Does somebody have a different vision for the world?
Peace. I want peace, but I don't. I think you can have peace with or without gods. We just haven't had a good model of the gods' version of peace.
Right.
But I don't want to kill people just because of what powers they have. I don't want to say I want to kill people, but I do think that people that make poor choices with the power that they've been given, where it hurts people, I don't think they should be allowed to live and continue.
I don't disagree.
Right, well, those are very admirable goals. What about you, Brissa? What do you want?
I mean, to be honest, I can see both aspects. A world without the gods would be, freedom for everyone. But a world with gods is also good because, as they were saying, sometimes there's bad gods, just like sometimes there's bad people, right? And so if we can get good gods in there that we know are going to do good, then that is good. But then, how do you also not make sure that they end up becoming bad? That's also why oaths are great, by the way. Just putting that one back out there.
Bring back oaths.
Get those types of promises permanently.
We know what Brissa would campaign on. Just bring back the
oaths back in business, baby.
Make oaths great again.
Gods.
I can see myself going either way. Honestly, what I want is to be with my family. I want to be with Thylea. I want to be with my husband and my children. And I just want to protect my city and my people. If there's a god, then there is a god. If there are no gods, then that's great. I will note that, however, if we do go the no gods route, it does kind of make Thylea undefended. Like, what happens, we know now that people can go in and out. What happens if one of those gods can just come back in, like a new god comes back in, and they're like, oh, hey, I'm a new god, and now you're all dead.
So, Carpathos has some kind of something similar to the Palladium that would basically encompass the whole world and keep gods out and would not require any kind of blood or life essence to power it because it would run on the divine artifacts power.
Do we know if that can run out? We probably don't know, but
I mean,
can it?
I guess it depends on if the divine artifacts power is limited or not.
Does that trap people here again?
I didn't think to ask that.
Make me an Arcana.
I don't think it would. He talked about it being a defense against gods and not anything about any other kind of barrier. They really, like, despite being vampires and, necromancers and all that, their concern more than anything seems to be being done with the gods, not having gods interfere with anything anymore.
But gods will continue to exist whether or not we disagree with their methods, right? Because it's a deterrent system. Is that correct?
He talked like it was gonna like be a barrier that they wouldn't be able to cross. At least that's how I understood it.
What happens if like one is somehow born or something like in Thylea, like and it's like a baby? Does it just get like yeeted out? It's like
when it turns 18. When he turns 18, it gets yeeted out. Adult age, and then you're out of the house.
Oh my god, so cute. Bye.
Interdimensional fire, like you just drop it off the dimensional fire station. You're just like, oh hey, we don't want this one.
I don't know that. I don't know that can happen unless it would be born of Thylea at that point, because we have to get rid of the existing gods one way or another anyway.
Right.
I tried to get an answer out of them about, what would this do, because, this whole world is basically a god, and
right.
I'm not sure they actually know.
A little concerning then.
Yeah.
This is my surprise face.
I don't know. I'm not enough of a scholar of divinity, and I don't think even the people who claim to be would know the answer, but I don't know how much of the land of Thylea's continued existence is due to whatever remains of the goddess Thylea's spark. That's my only point of concern, is if this barrier somehow interferes with Thylea's continued existence because the land is the literal body of a god, obviously there's a problem. They don't seem to think that it will, but I don't think they can say with 100% certainty.
Right.
And also the whole vampire overlords thing, right? The secret vampire society. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I think you.
I mean, they want to restore Aresia. I don't know that they want to go outside of that.
But there will be a power void if we get rid of gods.
There already is a power void.
But
just getting rid of Sidon.
Right, from the first bad guys we sided with.
I mean, but there isn't really. I mean, there is, but there still exists a lot of power.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
What I'm saying is, if the gods are gone, the fight for power is still going to happen. But just look at who the fight's going to be between. Who's left?
Yeah.
And I look at Lyra. We know that your patrons want power.
They do? Oh, sorry. It was supposed to be in my head.
And what do you want, Lyra?
I mean, do you want me to start from the beginning?
How long is it going to take?
Yeah. We have this room.
Well, the demiplane doesn't go away, so...
Yeah. We're in a bath. How much more open and honest do you want to be?
I mean, I could dispel the seeming. That'd be a little more open and honest.
Well, two of you have already... We've already seen each other naked, so...
Let's do it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Maybe don't waste the spell slot just so we can all check each other out real
quick. As you guys
quick.
debate this, there's a shimmer across all of you as one by one, each one of the illusions drop.
Oh no, I'm naked
Wasn't
now.
me. It wasn't me.
Oh no, you get to see how hot I'm.
Oh no, this is so embarrassing.
My mom is gonna find out now.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute.
Oh,
Lyra.
right.
What about that tattoo
You do look different.
You do. We will tackle that in a moment.
Look, everybody goes through a phase. It's fine.
This isn't about me. This is about us right now.
I cast Alter Self to make myself me, but like 15 pounds ago.
The stress eating.
Too many good berries.
Oh yeah, that's a callback.
Okay, well, I mean, let's see. Why did I start doing all of this? I started doing all of this because I wanted to bring my brother back to life, but we're past that bridge. Way past that bridge. And then I decided, well, why don't we be gods if the issue is that we have gods that are in it for selfish reasons and for personal gain, and maybe we can do better than them. But now it's kind of like, I want to be a god because clearly none of this is working out, and I just want to be powerful enough to protect my family and protect the people I care about and protect the people that deserve it. But in like the last, I don't know, 24 hours, I think what I want now is to just be done.
Just gonna hold her hand there. Yeah.
It's completely valid.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
And
the fates will
I,
let you be done?
Well, that'll be my issue to deal with when it comes time to deal with. But I think I have been pretty vocal about my position in this situation. So and then I would like to give Daphne a little pat on the hand, and then I want to swim over to the other side of the pool. And I don't care if I'm close. I don't know how big the pool is, but I would assume that people would read that as "don't talk to me," and I would like to begin casting a spell with my last spell slot that I have.
What are you casting?
Contact the Fates.
Counter spell. No.
All right. How long?
It takes a minute.
Okay.
So
In that
Do you recognize it?
any quick responses to her swimming away? What do you guys say? I don't know. Has anyone seen you cast it before, Lara?
no, I've never used it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So then, wow, she's just talking to herself in the corner.
What is
It
she
is.
doing?
It is just verbal. The only component is verbal. So I do have to like actually say the spell, but that it would just be me like murmuring to myself in the corner.
Hamina, 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 hamina. Yeah.
Fate
But yeah, I've never cast it. I've never cast it at all, even by myself. So
Lyra,
Oh.
I understand. I hate working with Helen. I'm still wrestling with the idea if I am okay with no gods, if I'd be pushed out, if there's a lot, but maybe we can figure out a plan here and now.
I'm excited to see what you guys come up with, considering the people that told us they want to kill the gods for Hephaestus's divinity 3 times in like 5 minutes.
I know. Lyra, I know.
I would prefer if you stayed with us and not swam off.
With as you finish
I'll put the ring.
incantation.
I'll put the ring back on. I can hear you guys.
You suddenly see Lyra descend. Her head dips underwater.
Also, I'm about to start nose bleeding too. I forgot that's a thing.
What?
Oh my god.
Oh, not in the pool.
It's too late. I was all bloody when we got in.
I do take 29 damage.
Oh my god.
And the fates are good. You're contacting them and you just take damage right away.
I also have disadvantage on all intelligence checks until we take a long rest.
Jesus
So
Christ.
just so I know, we see Lyra mutter to herself in the corner, start to bleed, and then sink into the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
And
yeah.
then you suddenly see as a pool of blood just like starts to fan out from where she was, Lyra. You go underwater.
I had to give it a downside so that it would just work. I talked about this with David. It had to have a downside for it to just work.
I swim over. Oh my gosh.
You swim over, and we'll get back to that in a second. Lyra. The water seems to suddenly darken. It's just like light was turned off above you as you kind of like try to gasp for air, and you look around, and you're inside of the cave. You see dozens of the human-faced maggots as they kind of just like undulate around the pool that you're at. And you can see on the north wall there's a little bit of a naturally formed stone dais, and between the large dragon bones you see the beginning of a new loam being woven. Sitting upon the beginning, almost as if it's a hammock, a seat of sorts, almost like a throne, is Desdemona. Leaning forward, her long claws kind of wrapping against her gray skin, the carved runes across her beautiful face, the horns bedecked with golden chains and different elements of paganistic tokens. It's kind of jingling with it as she goes forward. Hello, love.
I just want to start this open table conversation with a hefty. How fucking dare you?
Her eyebrows are up. There's a amused smile that dances around the corners of her mouth. She cocked her head to the side, the jingling of the chains and tokens against her horns.
Yeah, we'll take that as question number one. I didn't expect an answer. All right, let me clarify. Question number two. Brissa has given you so much for me. How dare you keep her daughter from her?
She looks at you again. I keep hearing accusations. You have been given the power to commune with me, to receive answers. Her full lips are kind of almost like half open. Her eyes look down at you from her perch. Still that smile upon them. Ask a question. A true question. Stop being deceived by your emotions. Ask.
If I have this power, what do I need to do with it to bring her back?
You must simply wish for it.
If it is divinity that you speak
Girl,
of.
I don't have that spell.
Wrong kind of warlock.
But you knew the answer already, Lyra.
Her large ears kind of flick a little bit. She begins to play with a chain that kind of runs to the piercing in her nose.
You're smarter than that, little bird. Ask better questions. 4 more.
It hurts. I think of Pascal. It hurts. It hurts deep. What do you want?
Irrelevant. Three more.
What do I have to give you?
The divine artifacts, like we said.
I mean, surely you're not oblivious to the fact that we need that if we're going to do anything else that we plan on doing. I know, you can only answer the questions. I'm pissed. How can I ensure that we'll be able to come out alive if I give you this?
You can't.
What do I got? One more? 2 more? How many questions have I asked?
She counts it as 3.
Good. I'm glad she let me have those freebies in the beginning. Probably wasn't expecting me to be mad at her. Is there anything more that you can give me in return?
Yes. Yes. Now you're asking the right questions, Lyra. Keep going. 1 more. What is it that you want? What do you desire?
I'm so pissed. There's so many things that I want. If I give it to you, will you give me Sidon's divinity?
only if you bring me another little bird. She gets up. All of the maggots are starting to undulate more quickly. The squelching sound of their bloated insectoid bodies making these suction noises against the ground as they're wriggling away, desperately trying to crawl away from Desdemona. She slowly starts to step down from her stone dais and towards you. As her long clawed fingers kind of wrap around the back of your head, her other hand takes your jaw and lifts it up. Good luck. And she drowns you in the pool. Darian. Lyra! As the blood goes. Yeah. You reached it in, and there is nothing in the water. No Lyra, absolutely nothing to be felt. As you kind of reach around, you dive down, and there's just blood everywhere. As suddenly...
Did she dissolve?
You feel a push. And Lyra is kind of just like pushed back out of the water. And for a second, you can see those almost like red henna tattoos carved into a gray arm. Rings adorned, black long nails pushing Lyra's face upward, seemingly out of nowhere. And then the hand just dissolves, turns into strings, and disappears. Lyra, you resurface. Darian, you immediately thereafter. And you can see that indeed Lyra, even as she comes out, it's like washed out with the water. It's like tears of blood out of her ears as well, out of her nose and mouth.
Despite all the drama, Darian is just so... She's just like, we can't lose anyone else. And also, Lyra had said she's done, and then she was gone in a pool of blood, and so Darian just...
Yeah, that was kind of dramatic.
Yeah. Darian will just, I think, latch on to Lyra and pump cure wound after cure wound after cure wound into her, using her... Nah, listen, it's not going to be 3rd or 4th level, but on my 1st levels, BB, that's all for you. So,
thanks, BB.
Good stuff, but,
just like, to cure the nosebleed and the eye bleed and just, And I think if you were to look at Darian's hands, they're absolutely shaking with adrenaline, but also just pure fear. And so,
I forgot to hurt myself, so my health bar accurately reflects how hurt I am now.
Yeah. And so I'll roll those in a second. But I'll be like, where did you go? What happened? Why is there so much blood? What? You can't do that, Lyra. You can't just disappear in water after saying you're done. You can't just do that.
Krista will swim over as well and be like, and I agree. That was uncool. That was not okay.
I think Lyra just starts to laugh, like teetering on a mental break laughter, like that kind of laugh.
Ooh, guys, I got this. Hold on. I can make this worse.
Oh wow, okay. So I'll take a max roll.
Was she under too long? What's going on?
I dove. Well, first there was a ton of blood, and I dove down, and she wasn't there at all. And then she comes back, and she's got weird hands attached to her, and Darian says it out loud. She does
have like 53 boyfriends, so that's not so surprising.
This is more magic shit. Is this what that is?
Of course it is.
I hate magic.
The question is it her magic? Hey now, is it her magic? Or
okay, real, calm down.
I know.
That's where I went. It's made up. Government conspiracy. Magic doesn't melt steel beams.
Oh no.
Magic doesn't melt steel beams.
I mean, it could.
This world, that's probably not true.
Except,
You
there's no
literally
steel
just
in
have to
this
go over
world,
to the
so-
foundry. Like, I'm pretty sure that proves it wrong. Where were you, Lyra?
Girl, I just had to vent. It's been stressful.
To who? Where?
Right here.
But you weren't. And you come back covered in blood.
So, it's nosebleed. Stress. Let's just go
And
back
from your
to...
eyes. And your ears.
I was under the water. It spreads around.
Insight check.
Oh, you want to do this? Oh, okay.
I know you have such a high deception. It's laughable.
Watch me roll a 1. I want to see what you roll first, just so I know what I have to beat.
That's a 28.
Oh, a 19 on the die. Oh,
Interesting. Oh shit.
I actually might fuck this up.
No, you won't.
30.
Oh, so close. Even with a nat 20, I couldn't beat that. Anyone have a guidance?
Sorry, I threw that away.
Yeah, I rolled a 13, by the way.
Yeah, it's alright. You know what? I'm gonna use my perception next time, and you can't hide shit from that.
You'll see the blood.
Yeah, I saw into your meeting with the Fates. That's
Wow. I didn't know that's how that worked.
Yeah. I think maybe you're just overstressed, Darian. We all are, so I won't hold it against you.
just you weren't there. So just scared me that you could be gone from what I thought was a god's plane.
Yeah, Lyra, you kind of sounded really final there. That sounded almost like a goodbye.
Oh no, if I make an exit, you'll know.
Yeah, I mean, the last time she made an exit, she dissolved into a pool of blood.
Yeah.
I think Darian would laugh at that. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So anyways, what are we doing with the bad guys? Have you guys, I feel like
we
I was
kinda
underwater
panicked
for a
about
couple
you.
minutes.
We panicked about you.
Yeah.
It's
I think we can all agree that we don't want to kill Hephaestus.
I didn't even think that was on the table.
Yeah,
I'm saying we're talking about the 8 right now.
Okay,
Who-
got it.
Who in the 8 do we feel like we want to kill? Or do we feel like needs to die?
Well, I guess, can we back up a little bit? Because, the 8 is going to be a problem whatever route we go down, most likely. But I really think we just need to decide the core decision, and then we can deal with the details afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going with there's going to be gods, or are we going with there's not? And I think whatever we decide here and now, we all just have to agree to promise to one another that that is what we are going to do. Whether we disagree with some things or not, whether we all completely agree or not, but we need to be a unified front on this, on that core decision, if there's going to be gods or if there's not going to be gods.
Well, I think if we decide we're pro-God, that also brings up the question of what are we going to do when we inevitably have to fight Carpathos and Queen Helen?
I agree. I think we will come to those details.
I'm sure we'll talk about it, but 100% right now, if we're not all in that, and I look at Yanni, I don't think that's an option.
That's what I'm saying. We all have to be on the same boat here. That is, before we leave this bath.
What?
There's just blood dribbling out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can we prestidigitation this?
I didn't say that, by the way.
I do. I
The
prestidigitate the
blood
blood.
just
I have that now.
disappears as you say it out loud.
Oh.
Aside
see?
from
I'm
the
telling you, it
obvious
was all just stress.
aggressions afterwards, after we decided that the gods could possibly be an enemy, what did the gods... What have they done exactly that have made them bad other than that they are gods?
For the current 8,
Yes.
it was the Skyfather and the Sun Mommy, as we like to call her.
Right.
They said they wanted, them and their angel said they wanted to
Yes.
go and spread their godhood across the universe and basically, create Thylea as, think of it, as the central hub of war against every other god in the known universe and spread their greatness throughout and be like, oh, we are the best gods and we are the only gods, etc., right? So they want to be the true gods for every other universe besides just Thylea. So they wanted to just start more wars. And
Yeah, it's kind of the absolute power part that we're...
Not to mention, Skyfather mentioned making new people and just killing everybody who didn't worship him.
Right, yeah.
Wonderful.
But it's just the two gods at the top. It's just Sky Father or Sun Mom, Mommy and Daddy, and their angel that are the only.
Right.
And probably the Ghost Lord. Just
Right, Ghost Lord was apparently working with Moxena, right?
Yes, but he might be doing something outside of them, unless she's trying to butter up the 8 to join them.
I have kind of thought about that briefly. Obviously, we don't know what he's doing, and we don't know what they actually talked about. But I do have a small inkling of an assumption that the Ghost Lord working with Moxena is probably how she got the ambrosia.
Mm-hmm. So whether that's him acting on his own or acting with the 8, we don't know.
Well, we know... See, it's tricky because we don't know where the ambrosia actually is, but we do know that the other gods of the 8 had it at some point. They were actively drinking it in our faces the last time we were there.
But
they said that
was a copy.
false. Yeah, it was a copy.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think, though, we're distracting. We're getting away from the point, and Briss has made it very clear, and I have to agree. What do we want? Do you want gods? Do you... minus logistics or anything else, get rid of all that. What are we fighting for?
And we can figure out the logistics afterwards.
I mean,
Point blank period, I think a Thylea without gods would be worse off in the long run. End. The end.
Yanni, I'm sorry, I can't possibly fathom a world without any gods. As you pointed out, Thylea herself being one of them. I know we haven't had the best of gods, but
how do we keep somebody else from becoming a tyrant like Sidon? That's my concern.
Oops. Oh, sorry. It was just it got really deep inside of there. The word oath.
You just say oath again, Brissa?
Yeah, well, that ship has sailed.
If you want to be the god of oaths, Brissa, be the fucking god of oaths. Okay.
You know what? I will be the god of oaths and enforce oaths if that is what is going to do it, and we keep other gods in check for their oaths, and then we're like, hey, the gods must swear oaths to the people, and then they somehow keep it, and then, I don't know if that's actually possible. I'm just saying, oaths were amazing, and we're really losing out on oaths.
I mean,
I hate oaths.
I love oaths.
we can't predict the future. We can't know if there's going to be another Sidon god. We can't. Well, okay. And I look at Lyra. I'll take any threads of knowledge right now if you can tell me, but we can't predict it.
I got one. Hold.
Yeah. I'm just glad you're talking to us again. And if this is the way, then this is the way. But I don't feel right taking people's faith from them. And I don't think it's fair to force independence or force that. I don't want to force that on them. There are people that faith is important to them. It's who they are. It's what they need to make it throughout the day. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't taking that away from people is right.
I mean, they can still believe whatever they want to believe.
There's nothing to believe in anymore. If there's no gods, there's, you just be living in a normal person, which it's also fair. But
God, it must suck to be normal people.
So we give them something to believe in.
What are we going to give them? A king? A queen? A
lie.
A lie?
Sure, but they'll never know.
Oh, that'll end well.
People do
What
like
lie?
being lied to. I mean,
Oh.
look at the entire history of everything that's ever happened.
It is very easy to lie to people.
sus.
I'm sorry, we're gonna just say that there is a god that they all worship, and then
Tell them the gods have agreed to be hands off, so they're not going to be seeing miracles anymore, but they're still there to listen.
Oh, and like if they pray enough, they'll be forgiven, and then they go somewhere
Forgive them
special.
for
when they die.
what?
And what happens to clerics, to those who gain powers from the gods?
Maybe they should
Guess
just
they'll
get
have
them from
to
somewhere else.
make an honest living like the rest of us.
Okay. I don't think stealing is an honest living.
Well, I mean, clerics. Never mind.
I haven't done that in at least 15 minutes. I don't know what you're talking about.
15 minutes? The hell did you steal?
Your heart.
Aw.
Can I strangle it?
So we have one.
Can I
We have
smite
one
on a
for no
punch?
gods. Yeah. All right, so we have one for no gods. We have 3 for gods. Rissa and Argenti.
Well, I think the fact that we don't have a majority already held out this whole process. I think we've already finished this process. Like,
Well, we could be a tie still, right? Am I doing my math right?
it could be a tie.
It could be a tie, which that would suck for us because that's. Oh my god. Argenti.
It's really hard. I think not having gods is an ideal situation for me. However, and I can't believe this is coming from me, I don't know if the world knows how to function without gods. And also, I feel as though I'm more satisfied with that because I know now that there is a way to leave. It feels sort of like a defeat, but I also hate to admit it, but I understand Lyra perfectly when she says that she just wants to be done. Not that I want to be done. I want
Please
my
don't go
children.
under the water.
No, I won't.
Well,
I would never be so dramatic and get an equal response from everybody like you did, so it won't happen.
honestly, that's true.
Okay, we'll unpack that later too.
I just want my family back together. That is what I want. And I do want peace, and I do want a free world, and I actually, at this point, don't care how I get that.
Yanni, extending an olive branch. My understanding is that those who wish to continue to be gods or worship gods will either be told a lie and stay in Thylea. Again, ignoring the fact that whatever's going to happen to Thylea. Or they leave.
I mean, those are options. I don't necessarily want to lie to people. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's just, But if they insist on having something deific to put their faith in, well, we can give them something that's not going to be able to stab them in the back when they aren't looking.
I'm going to ask something, and I don't want it to... It's going to be mean, but I'm going to ask it.
Oh. Here we go.
How many of you are even planning on staying here? How many of you plan on living the rest of your lives here? Because if you don't plan on staying here, if you don't plan on being here, then I think your opinion is less.
I want to go exploring, but I don't. I'm not saying I would never come back. I just want to see what else is out there. It's never felt like my home. I've been an outcast my whole life.
I hate that for you, because that's not the way anybody should feel. And I can't change that for you, Yanni, but I'm planning on staying here and dying here. And I don't think it's right for any one of us to make a decision if we're not going to be doing that.
That's fair.
I agree with that. I mean, I plan on staying with my family.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on abandoning my entire tribe of people.
You said you were done, Lyra! I don't...
There's many forms of done, Darian. Look.
It sounds more like die, which is essentially leaving.
Well,
also,
based on the trajectory of our plan right now, that probably will be the end, but...
you know what? Yeah.
Alright. So it sounds like majority of us are pro-God here.
Unfortunately.
That sounds like it's going to be a majority. I mean, it sounds, if I count right, 5 versus 1 there, basically. Kind of like 1.5. You're kind of in the middle of the road there, Argenti. So I think we should all agree that when we leave, we're going to be team making gods, right? Or team there will be gods. Not destroy every single god that has existed. And make sure that none can ever come in. Can we all agree?
Summon an army of undead and
yes,
barricade
exactly.
Thylea from the outside world again and kill all the gods that live here. Probably more than just the gods, because honestly, how many times have they referred to, Argenti as divine with the magic that he uses, and also obviously the fates exist and there's still titans here, and
Lyra,
what is the scope of divinity?
How and I understand that there's a little bit of a conflict here, but how bad would it actually be if the fates did become supreme gods? To me, they seem very neutral. I don't view them as either evil nor good. They sort of just are.
They're selfish.
I mean, that's
they're all selfish.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really fault someone for being selfish.
Yeah, but we don't all have that level of power.
Get all of us, but I'm not going to say that they're not acting on their own agenda in what they do. I think we all have come to the conclusion that that's always the case.
Have you ever observed them doing something that you, as a mortal, would consider evil?
I mean, one of them ate me as a baby and rebirthed me as a hagling.
Oh,
Well, they were
them?
following the deal that your mother made with them, but
And a deal is neither good nor bad.
Oh, it's that hag. I got it now.
they didn't just do it because they wanted to eat you. So.
I just thought it was a random hag. I now understand. Okay.
I mean, Lyra, don't they seem cruel? I mean, you told me about your brother.
I mean, yeah, they killed him, but I feel like we're missing that part where they did it so that I would die.
And to me, that doesn't seem good nor evil. It almost seems like both at the same time, which is neutral. That's like a true neutral, yeah.
I mean, if we looked at it detached from their methodology, because yes, they can be harsh sometimes, and yes, they can be blunt and to the point, I would say they are very neutral.
And honestly,
do things that they do sometimes rub people the wrong way? Sure. But
like eating babies.
Mm-hmm.
Like following through on deals that the baby's parents made.
That doesn't make it okay.
Then be mad at your mom.
I am. But I'm mad at both my moms, if we want to look at it that way.
Well, to be fair, it's probably a really terrible thing that they offered that as a deal. Like, it's kind of like, why was that your go-to? Like, let me eat your baby? But then it's also really bad that she was like, you could eat my baby. Like, it just feels like it was a bad option that was put on the table. So,
like, it was a means to an end.
Also, I would love to point out, although I don't condone baby eating, we do have an excellent scholar of a wizard who is sitting before us who was eaten and did not die. So, it was a gift.
Well, the jury's kind of out on that. We're still not exactly sure how the process works, but
I mean,
but still not dead. So
true.
Not currently dead.
And you're an asset to the world.
Do you think they would challenge each other, or would they just feed into one another?
I mean, you mean the three fates among themselves?
Like, would they challenge each other to say if they think one's going too far one way or the other, or are they just going to get drunk and feed into one another and be like, this is a great plan?
Lyra, correct me if I'm wrong, but my interactions with them, Desdemona's in charge, and the other two don't. I don't think I've even heard one of them speak.
I think that's a fair assumption.
I've always viewed the fates as one entity, honestly.
Well,
that's interesting. Are they just like are the other two like just other manifestations of Desdemona, like other aspects of? That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
David, I've interacted with the fates quite a few times.
That's something to keep me awake tonight.
Just based off of obviously how our relationship has been and the interactions we've had.
Very healthy. Very reaffirming.
Desdemona is at least the mouthpiece. But does it seem like... Yeah, I know what I said. Does it seem like that even though it does seem like a power differential, that they do need all three of them?
Make me either an insight or an investigation check.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I did find out as I was leveling up 2 sessions ago, or 2 weeks ago, that I have an advantage on investigation checks from my stone speaker crystal. Didn't know that was a thing. Saw it on D&D Beyond. It had the little A next to it. I was like, what the fuck? But anyways. But my investigation is less.
But you have disadvantage because you used Commune with the Fates, so it's a straight roll.
Oh, you're right. Insight would not be disadvantage.
Correct. But they're both straight rolls at that point, really.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me that I just fucked myself up like 10 minutes ago.
Tried to play it off, but
I completely forgot. First time using the spell. Sorry about that. Sure, I'll do an insight. Yep, that checks out. A 14.
Damon, you have a DM inspiration if you'd like to gift it.
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Oh.
I want the lore reveal.
Oh no.
Do better! No pressure!
Do better.
An 8.
Oh.
I didn't say roll an 8. I said do better than an 8.
Oh, man. All right. With a total of a 14, you certainly investigated into the nature of the Fates. After everything came to light over the 3 years, you spent a long time going into it, trying to figure out what exactly they were.
Right, I stayed there for a while in that 3-year hiatus too.
And they were not often home, so to speak. It was not exactly a hostile stay. Generally speaking, as far as the interactions go, it does definitely seem like Desdemona is the one that engages with those who come to sacrifice in order to receive a boon, an insight, an augury from the Fates. They never force people. They only ever offer. In exchange for the sacrifice of fortune, favor, or something else, they will always fairly give away what they promised. They do not operate like the other hags that you have read about, the hag that attacked Versi so long ago in her temple.
Oh, I forgot about her. We killed her.
The
Killed her dead.
The ones that served Lutheria and Sidon when they were still around. The Fates seem to somehow have the capability to act outside of that, almost as if they have something on their side that makes them special. As far as the power dynamic goes, it is interesting because, indeed, Desdemona is the one that always speaks. The other ones never spoke to you. The other ones, on a superficial level, for Lyra's sake, are also crones, misshapen.
Right.
And
yeah, I do remember that the other two are not Dami Mommy like Desdemona is.
With a 14, I will say, you have always received courteousness and respect from the Fates. They never forced you to do anything.
Right. I mean, even now they know, like, we have the fire and they said we want it, but they didn't try and take it from me.
Though at the same time, there has always been a bit of, like, in walking up to a panther, there's always been that feeling of a predator watching you when you engage with her. An internal fear that wells up deep in your chest. With a 14, you didn't have time, or you didn't have the arcane knowledge to, at that time, suss it out more, but there are two significant things that you have given the Fates at this point. You've given them the sacrifice of the Lotus Witch, who was a very powerful sphinx, who was capable to bend time itself. And you have given them Sidon Spark. You are relatively certain that they are not able to capitalize on the spark by itself, or otherwise they would have already. but they seem to have grown in power after you sacrificed the Lotus Witch. Which communicates to you, at the very least, on the base level, that they are not gods. They are not divine beings. But Desdemona is the linchpin, the crown. Something in your gut tells you that she needs the two others.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
You have read about things called covens. That they usually come in threes. And that usually when that happens, all three hags will share power. What you weren't sure is how exactly that power sharing works. And maybe you just got bored of reading scrolls and wanted to hang out with Pascal instead.
Well, I think if she could at least deduce that, because I know it's been a long time since I've gone over there, but I believe every time I've physically talked to them, Desdemona was front and center, and the other two were always working on the loom behind her.
Yep.
So it's definitely I think Lyra would also assume if Desdemona could just the one in charge, she would have done it already, because that's what Lyra would have done. So cool. Well, I don't even remember who asked me. Was it Argenti? Well, it was Darian. I feel it safe to say that they need each other. They wouldn't. There would be no infighting, because losing one would harm the other two.
Mm-hmm. Yanni,
Yes.
do you still feel, knowing that the majority of us want gods at the end of this, that you can still fight with us and be with us?
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of wondered what it would be like to not have any gods for a long time, so it's, this, my plan before an hour ago was to go along with you guys on all of this, so nothing's really changed. There was just an option presented.
Okay. Do we want the Fates to become gods? Or
No.
would we be okay with that if it happened?
I would probably leave and not come back if that happened. I don't trust them.
Okay.
I would rather one of us do it, or someone that we trust do it versus the Fates.
Yeah. I actually have to agree. I would say if that was even an option, bare minimum, I would want one or more of us to also be gods, as kind of like a checks and balances.
So we're in agreement that
Yes.
it's not something we're working towards, the Fates being gods. Can you make that promise, Lyra, or does that need to fall on us so you're not put in danger?
don't want them to be gods.
So then, whatever we need to do to keep you safe from them, I vow to do.
Of course, we're going to protect Lyra. So I would just,
But
yeah, we will always
I'm
protect
not-
Lyra.
But I'm not gonna hold it against her if they try to pull some strings on her. I'll never see you as my enemy, Lyra. So that brings us back to the 8. I think we need to go through them one by one. Festus, I want to keep. He makes you happy. And
Everyone's
honestly,
like, nah, fuck
Stephanie-
him.
Yeah. All right, he stays.
Yeah, Hephaestus good.
Fish Queen, good.
Yeah, she's been pretty neutral, I think.
hmm
Yeah,
The Hunter God, good.
good. Yeah.
Trickster,
We don't really know, right? He's just kind of been off the radar.
I think
Yeah,
he's someone
it's-
who looks out
Trickster's
for himself.
unknown.
Isn't he just
Yeah.
an alcoholic?
Yeah,
Whoa, no,
functioning.
that's the
Probably
moon maiden.
functioning.
Yeah, that's a Moon Maiden.
Well,
I would say Trickster's unknown, with TBD.
Yeah,
Okay.
Trickster
TBD
is. I think Trickster is self-serving, in the
And-
sense that he just wants to be by himself.
Yeah, I think Hephaestus would be probably our best insight into if the Trickster would get in our way, or if he would just want to stay out of it.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll decide on him later.
Yeah.
Argenti,
All right.
do you feel like the Moon Maiden just wants to live?
She did threaten us.
I feel
yes.
like the Moon Maiden,
The moon
moon-
maiden. She changes
Freudian
colors.
slip. No. Well, what I was gonna say is that I feel like she's the Moon Maiden. I feel as though she's a little bit of like a candle in the wind, and however, I actually don't. I don't really trust her. She actually she frightens me a little bit because you could never expect her to do something terrible, but I would not put it past her.
So,
And she did actively threaten us.
she did, but it was
I think more than
For
once,
a
actually.
reason.
I think twice, actually.
it was for a reason. Do you remember when the Moon Maiden came in and threatened us at the palace? And I don't know if there was like an awkward stare between the two of us for a bit.
Where you guys just gazed longingly
Undressing
into
each
other's
other
eyes?
with your eyes.
Like, I get it.
That's not
She's,
what happened.
she's wearing
That's
like
not-
no clothes.
That's not
It's
what
basically
happened.
one item, and then she's naked.
But yes, I do remember your stare off.
Okay. I'd hope it wasn't like that.
It was as awkward as you think it was. It was.
Yeah, Daphne, I love you, but I'm pretty sure every time you look at someone, it looks like a stare off. Like,
Immediately looking at the pool now. All right. What I'm trying to say here is that it sounds like she's more likely on our side, and she has to put on a show. I would put her more on the lines of the Trickster God. She's potentially out more for her own. And admittedly, I know I'm easily swayed, but I think she does just want a better Thylea.
okay, I'll put her at like a here.
Yeah, I would say
Getting
she's an
our way.
unknown and wild card as well.
Yep, I
Yeah.
hope.
Like a neutral, like the Trickster, but actively threatened us.
Slightly-
So
slightly
put her-
lower.
we'll put her
Again,
here,
for
we'll
looks,
put her
because
here.
she's also being watched.
It's
I-
true. It is true.
I think if we can guarantee her safety, she'll play along.
Yeah, I do think it's
She wants to survive.
whoever wins is on her side.
Yeah, she's absolutely going to do what's best for her. in the moment.
So the Sun God and Storm bad.
Both
Right?
It's
We all
Sky
agree.
Dad
Sun
or
Mommy,
Sun
Sky
Mommy?
Daddy. Sky Daddy and Sun Mommy both bad.
Mommy and Daddy. That's just who they are.
Both.
Mom and Daddy
Parents are
both bad.
gross. We hate
Yes.
parents. Gross.
They will be
We
destroyed.
support orphans in
And
this.
Death Lord,
We're an orphan economy.
Oh no.
if the Death Lord
Honey's right
helped,
there. Right? Yeah. Sorry.
the Death Lord helped Moxena, I'm sorry, but I'm going to kill him as well.
Oh
the
yeah, I
Ghost
forgot.
Lord?
Also
Yeah.
bad. He's also bad. Also bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's how she got the ambrosia? Ghost Lord
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
What would she have had to have given him, though?
Head.
To rule.
I'm sorry.
Lots of
He did.
death.
Yeah. Didn't he? He wanted to. Weren't we told?
He was in the
Well, at
Nether
least-
Sea the last we
Like
checked, wasn't he?
he's doing his own shit in the Nether Sea, so he's got
I'm sorry I
something
keep
up
doing
his sleeve.
this. I'm just addicted to sentencing people to death now.
Okay, if the 8 want to take over and be the gods, wouldn't he in turn then want to be the god of all underworlds?
Right, I think that is kind of what we were.
So he might be doing something in
Like
his
he
realm.
wants to control the Nether Sea.
And
I feel
and
like
connect
someone
it.
did tell us that.
Man, it's been a blur.
Maybe it was. No, I don't think it was Hephaestus. But I think someone did actually tell us he wants to like oversee the Nether Sea now. But I don't remember
your
who
mom?
it was.
Your mom, didn't she tell us about the contingent of Amazons that went and met the Ghost Lord? Somebody told us.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
think
told
so.
us Moxena.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Maybe
Was
that's
it
what
Moxena?
was.
No, we didn't learn it from Moxena. She just told you.
No. Yeah, no, but we know that he's working with her. Yeah.
Okay. So Ghost
Right.
Lord, dead. This will be
Bad.
great.
Ghost Lord dead.
He's
He's just
already
gonna go to his
dead.
own
He'll
home.
be
Yeah,
extra dead.
He'll be extra
Extra
dead.
dead. Yeah.
And then Skyfather, because he seems like a lot. From the one time I met him, he's a lot.
And he's unhinged.
He did kill Argenti.
He did. Yes.
He did.
And
I
it was
wasn't there for
pretty
that,
painful,
but the way
actually.
you tell it doesn't
It
sound
was kind of funny, but it did happen.
great. We can laugh about it now.
It didn't feel funny.
Well,
I heard it was funny. And then Sun
it was
Mommy.
very Argenti brought a knife to a gunfight, and the gun won.
Yeah.
Well,
And then Sun Mommy. When we thought we had to work with them, we wanted to be on Sun Mommy's side.
I did like.
I mean,
I
she's
like
the-
Sun Mommy.
she's preferential to Sky Daddy for sure.
Yeah.
But
he's
that's
more
like a
pleasant.
lesser of two evils scenario, I think.
So we need to get rid of both of them and the Ghost Lord for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Daphne, I know Hephaestus wanted us to try to work it out with them.
Yeah.
Do you think that he could tolerate this?
I think if we give him our reasons, potentially.
I'm gonna rip those wings off that angel's fucking face, right, or body.
Oh yeah, him
You're all
also
about
bad.
ripping
Yeah.
We did leave him out. He's also
Yeah,
bad.
but he is
also.
just a guaranteed dead.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I don't know that he's bad so much as just completely batshit crazy. But in
Yeah.
a
Well,
bad way.
I think the killing all the other gods and taking over was his idea
Yeah.
initially, right? So bad.
I'm just saying,
I
I
mean-
think I think he might be more rooted in crazy than evil.
Right.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was maybe inside of bad Silas' stomach for like a really long time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
millennia or 5.
So
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I
like-
think he just has to go as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
no,
don't
he's-
have mental institutions or therapy. We just kill the crazy ones. So
I mean,
It's
unless we
cheaper
find
that
out
way.
that he's under some kind of spell that we can remove, yeah.
My
And even
God.
then, I don't know that I care.
Right. So I think the next step is we need to speak to Hephaestus, and we need to start collecting data on the gods. Yeah, it's a great place to start. Also, I would like to close this wonderful thing out, Brissa, by telling you I think it's time to have the talk with Scylla. We'll talk about it afterwards. Right.
Oh, you know what?
No. I already had the talk with Valis, and Kyra told me a lot of details. No. And I'm not interested in making eggs like Darian. I want to know more about me and where I'm from.
Right.
How did she get in here?
Sorry.
Make it adult.
Also, I think we need to talk about this because I'm offended by the fact that you guys have been around me this long and didn't immediately clock that the first time Darian cast Mislead on us. Was I the only one? No one else caught on to that?
I passed the check. They all rolled and they didn't pass when I deceived them.
We all failed our insight.
They all failed it.
Flabbergasted. It was.
I'm
You mean I'm not part of the Light of Thylea?
Why?
No,
okay, first off,
Scylla, you are a child. You need to leave the bathhouse. I'm sorry.
Scylla, I can't make eggs. I don't understand. Wait.
Oh, Darian.
But
no, I mean,
know how your people
I
do it
don't
differently.
have dragon eggs.
I know.
Lay eggs instead of family.
What do your people have? Because you tried
I'm
to
sure
make
there's a
eggs with
cleric that can pick
kilos a
them.
lot.
I look at Brissa and I'm like, she's 4, right? Like this is too young.
That's what I called me in a cast this time. You know, to her, it's just much
Making
easier.
eggs?
I'm sorry. We need to unpack this immediately. We need to talk about this right now.
I don't have the time for this.
Okay, Scylla, we will return to this in a moment, but snitches get stitches, all right?
Are you threatening Silent?
Are you threatening that dragon?
I just am letting
kill
her
you.
know.
Oh God, it's all going downhill.
Oh,
We had such a serious conversation, and now it's all going downhill.
We haven't decided when we leave here.
Yes.
What are we doing about the Queen and Caduceus?
None of us are in shape to fight, and what I propose is that we say that we're going to go along with it, and then we go back to the city, rest up, and then maybe we use the alliance to use the undead hordes to get back your island, and then afterwards we tell them no, right? Maybe when they're a moment of weak, I'm sorry going to say it, Yanni, but we're going to have to kill your mother and your grandfather.
But isn't
Again,
that what
we're not
Sidon,
calling them those things.
Isn't that what Sidon did to us? He made a deal in bad faith and then he double-crossed us?
Ooh, that makes a good point.
Scylla, you're 4.
Let's just count what she's saying, though.
Every moment of my life I have spent in war, Lyra. I have been with all of you for every moment of my life. I know you. Maybe better than some of you know yourselves. I might not be as old as you yet, but I will maybe outlive at least some of you. Do not speak to me like I am an idiot, Lyra.
This is what I'm saying. Dragon supremacy.
What?
Oh,
Argenti!
I swear to God.
Huh?
You're not an equal. No.
all right. No. No, she's right. She has been with us this whole entire time. What's your plan, Scylla?
To protect
right.
Mama and
All right.
Okay, and when Queen Helen and Carpathos, who we've made a deal with, realize that we're not going to kill all the other gods and try and attack your mama, what do we do then?
I mean,
Lyra, don't speak to a child like that.
She just said she's not a child, actually.
No, you've crossed a line. You will not speak to her that way.
I don't know, Lyra. I just want to do good. I got to talk to Helios 2 times. Without everyone else around, without Darian trying to make eggs, and
We stop saying it.
Every time.
I love it.
God.
Can't believe this is happening.
That's genuinely not what's happening. Okay, but you're 4, so
whatever you people call it, it's a lot of smacking, okay?
Oh my good
Hey,
fucking
smacking
God. And I never sweat.
Where's the out button? How do we get out of this conversation?
I need to leave.
Do we just have to walk towards the wall? Does it open up if we just start walking towards the wall?
I try to cast mislead so many times, but it's not working.
But what he said was that his dragon rider became evil and broke his oaths and slaughtered so many people in the name of protecting the people he loved, and he became everything that he once fought. I don't want you all to become like Sidon. I don't want you to become the evil people. I want you to be able to read books and find a way to combine your families again and make eggs however much you want to. You need to be able to do that.
And Tyler, I promise that we won't, but we also need to get out of here alive. And that is the first step when we leave this room, is to get out of here alive. And none of us are in the shape to fight right now.
I know.
Can't make eggs if you're dead.
Oh, well, I understand where you're coming from, and lying is not good. But right now, it is needed so that we can actually get home to our family.
When Brissa says lying is not good, Yanni kind of looks over at Lyron's like...
Worked so far.
I don't know. I'm worried that we are repeating the mistakes of the past. Again and again and again, and... I don't know. I don't have an answer, Lyra, but it doesn't seem like you do either.
And she kind of gets out of the water. The water kind of washing off of her golden scales as she approaches the adamantine door, pushes it open.
But at least now only the adults can talk.
And she closes it.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Couldn't hear over the crosstalk.
Now the adults can talk.
Ah, thanks.
And as she closes the door, and there's a little bit of that echo doof, 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 through the bathhouse, and the fog of the hot water kind of lingers over that, and you guys all kind of quietly look down. That's where we leave this week's session.
I'm not going to let a 3-year-old dragon shame me over...
Yeah, I don't feel bad.
I just don't want her to see the naked people.
There's no making eggs. That's not how that works. She knows that. Right? She knows. I already have eggs. I don't need to make them.
I'm not going to explain reproductive,
I think you need
to a dragon.
I think you need to. I think she's getting to that age where
and
Bellas and Kira already got to her.
I need you to stop telling her that that's what you and your husband are doing, because it just
also, what the fuck?
It's easier.
Is this something I don't really
role
actually
play?
Want to never mind. No, shush. I don't want the answer.
You love dragons, and Cassis loves dragons.
Lay eggs. Interesting.
Third family.
All right, with that, thank you all so much for watching. Oh man, there is. I got to talk with the folks about next week, because it's a fun date. But at the very least,
what do you mean, David?
We'll talk. Don't worry about it.
What do you mean?
Stay tuned on the Discord for sure. If you guys want to check us out on discord.gg/polyhedra, you certainly can. Yeah, what a fucking session! Twists and turns and lots of making eggs.
Sorry.
With that, thank you all for watching. Always stream 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. See you guys next time.